What is up, boys and gorillas? We are finally back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Chain Warden. But before we dive headfirst into this, let me get a few things out of the way. Number one, this is going to be my most comprehensive guide and feature everything that I know about Thresh, and therefore it is going to be a long one. So grab a snack, sit back, and relax. Number two, I don't want you guys to get burnt out, so be sure to pause when necessary and watch segments back if needed. I will try to make this as fun and interactive as possible so it feels enjoyable throughout. Number three, as much as I want it to be, this isn't some sort of cheat code or formula to ensure that you hit a certain rank. Although a lot of this is data, many of this happens to just be my findings over years of playing this champion. A lot of them consist of patterns that I've noted, so don't be discouraged if you don't find progress right away. Thresh did get me to Diamond, but it first took many games of feeding before this champion finally clicked. Alright, so now that we've got all of that sorted, let's head into the table of contents so you guys have a little bit of an idea of what you're in store for. We're going to be starting with the intro and overview to Thresh. A few of the questions that may be answered are, when and why was he released? Why should you play him? And what is he good at? After that, I will call this entire section the simplified portion. Everything from rune choice to build to skills, all of them will be talked about, but at a base level. When it comes to conscious choice, such as what builds you run or what runes you take, it's essentially going to be a generalization, but it's something to get you started. And for absolutes, such as what your skills do, it's for you to have basic knowledge of the spell, and it lets you get your feet wet. I recommend this section, especially for the newer players, but it doesn't hurt to revisit the basics. For the players that are looking for a more advanced section, that's going to be right afterwards. In this section, we'll be looking at the exact same things, but this time broken down. This time, numbers are included. Some questions that might be answered are, why am I doing this the way that I am? What factors dictate how I'm playing? Why is my build and playstyle entirely different this game than the last one? I'll be showing some tips, more advanced breakdowns, knowledge, and interactions that people may have not known about. From there, we'll be looking at typically what you want to be doing at the early, mid, and late stages of the game. After that, this next few stages go hand in hand, but these portions may not entirely be data-based, but largely psychology-based. They consist of findings that I've come across after years of playing this champion. They happen to be a lot of patterns that I've realized. It isn't an absolute, so don't come after me if they don't work for you, but it's general ideas that have worked for me. Finally, we're going to be looking at some full game examples that hopefully cover a variety of different matchups, and throughout I will offer my thought processes so you can at least get a glimpse into the way that I see Thresh, that I view the game as Thresh. And without further ado, let's get started on this. Thresh was released in January of 2013, and he made history as League's first versatile playmaking support. 2013 was ruled by poke enchanters like Nami and Sona that needed to be engaged on, and also hard engaged supports like Alistar and Leona that your team needed to disengage and peel from. With the release of Thresh, he became an answer to all of those. So,
Nami?
Thresh, with a mixture of having decent laning phase, power spikes at level 2 once he gets access to both his hook and his flay, another power spike at 3 with the lantern, and a final power spike at 6 which leads to the lethal combo. Pretty decent roaming, he's got good peel, disengage, engage, playmaking, and crowd control. If Thresh does indeed have all of these, doesn't that just make him an OP champion? The answer to this is both yes and no, but to delve further we have to look at both subjective and objectiveness. Objectively, Thresh is at a 49.7% win rate around the world, Platinum Plus. Objectively, he has been hit with nerf after shining in pro play, and is getting hit with one more nerf in the next patch where his flay cooldown is getting increased. And objectively, he is just quite useless in the wrong hands, because he's the jack of all trades but the master of none. He isn't a true tank, a true engage, or a true enchanter. He isn't really the best at anything, he's just good at a lot of different things. And I also feel like it's pretty easy to single out a bad Thresh, because it's quite obvious. Oftentimes you'll just see them walk up, throw everything, miss everything, and end up looking really silly, or just die because you're not tanky. However, and here's where the subjectiveness comes in. Because there's such a scope to what you can do with Thresh, put it in the hands of the right player, and it really is an incredible experience watching one of these Master Thresh players do their thing, because there is no limit to what you can do. And when you're facing against one of those, it can feel pretty OP. It's typically the support that every ADC wants to be paired with, and since his release, he has been the most popular support since 2013. Now on to the runes. We are now in the simplified category, so we're going to just slam through these. Typically in the first row you're going to want to run Aftershock because you need tankiness in the early game, but in some difficult matchups you can run Guardian. Font of Life in the second row because you have so much CC and can offer valuable healing to your allies. Bone Plating in the third row because it prevents you from getting chunked by typically both ranged supports and marksmen, and finally Unflinching in the final row for added tenacity. Second tree you're going to want to run Inspiration and run Biscuits for sustain and added mana, and Cosmic for CDR and playmaking. As for subrunes, I would go CDR into MR into Armor, CDR or Haste because Thresh synergizes really well with it, and Armor and MR because botlane typically consists of both a mage and a marksman. For summoner spells, you typically want Ignite, whereas into some of the more difficult matchups, or when many assassins are present, you can go Exhaust. Anything else is probably not viable. For items, go the pauldrons that give attack damage, potions, and a ward. Even though Thresh does have AP scalings, I've personally never started the AP relic item. I value his empowered autos way more. For boots, try to rush a Mobies and affect the map, or get CDR boots to make more plays and have your summoners up faster. Your first few backs should always consist of a Kindle gem because the HP and CDR it gives is just too important. Your build will usually take on one of these paths. One thing to note is that you can substitute out the Locket for Shurelya's if the enemy team doesn't have too much burst, or if you value the movement speed and the haste more. Your final build will usually have most, if not all of these items. With that, let's get on to all of the skills and see what they do. To start, Thresh's passive is Damnation, and that lets him harvest the souls of those around him. Dead enemies leave behind their soul that Thresh can walk over and collect. Each soul gives 0.75 armor and AP. Thresh's Q is Death Sentence, and this lets him throw his scythe forward, grabbing an enemy, revealing and stunning them for 1.5 seconds, and finally allows him to cast Deathly Leap. Deathly Leap is the second part of his Q, which lets him dash towards the enemy he's just caught with Death Sentence. Thresh's W is Dark Passage, which lets him throw out his lantern towards an ally, briefly shielding them, and if the ally selects the lantern, they dash towards Thresh. Thresh's E is a Flay, and it's a two-parter. The first part is a passive which builds up extra magic damage on your autos based on time not spent attacking. And the second part is an active which sweeps your chains in a direction that knocks up and slows your enemies. You can choose to do this either towards you or away from you. Thresh's R, his ultimate, is the Box, and this allows him to drop a pentagon of spectral walls. Simplified, the wall damages and slow enemies who walk through it. With the basic skills out of the way, I would recommend skilling your abilities like this, but you can swap your E for level 1 if you prefer the auto damage, or if you're facing up against a tanky bot lane and aren't looking to hook them level 1 anyway. Now that we've been over the skills, we're going to go back and look at them in depth this time so that we can look at the details. So we went over earlier that each soul gives 0.75 armor and ability power, but why would a champion need armor through souls in the first place when the game gives it to you for free? In lane, Thresh finds pretty good success at snagging in souls because bot lane can have pretty bloody metas. Each champion kill, cannon minion, and large jungle camp that dies near you has a 100% chance to drop one soul, whereas small monsters and minions only have a 33% chance. It is also worth noting that every epic monster always drops 2 souls, along with killing Nunu and Willump. A few more obscure things to note are that souls give a small amount of vision, allies can always see your souls, and enemies can only see your souls if they also see Thresh. They last 8 seconds before they expire, and they can be collected with the lantern. Now, the reason that souls even exist is because Thresh is the only champion in the game that does not gain armor per level. If for whatever reason he's gained 0 souls and has no armor items, by the time he's level 18, he would have ended the game with 28 armor, the same as what he started out with. Something to note is that the rate of soul collection is dynamic. A lot of people don't know this, but the rate at which you gain souls varies from game to game based on a set of numbers that Riot has deemed as the appropriate amount of souls per minute. I don't know the actual number because it's hidden, but I made a graph guessing what Riot's invisible metric would potentially look like. What this means is that because this line is absolute and never changes, if you were in a game that had low kills, and due to that a low soul count, you would start to see that more and more basic minions would drop souls until you caught up to the line. It would be vice versa in high kill games, souls would slow down until you were back on the line. Now let's go back and revisit Thresh's death sentence. It has a range of 1100 units, a 0.5 second wind up on its cast time, a missile speed of 1900, for comparison Blitz has a speed of 1750 and Nautilus a speed of 2000, and it scales off of AP, which means that it can proc Hex Drinker. Unlike the other champions however, his hook has more than one point of contact because it has two tugs and not just a single pull. This prevents champions like Ezreal and Tristana from buffering the crowd control with their escapes. The animation of the hook prevents you from moving and attacking, so be careful where you throw it from or you'll leave yourself vulnerable to skill shots. Now this next up is a mechanic that is unique to Thresh. He can hook in a direction different to the one he's facing. If they're over 90 degrees away, he will turn exactly 90 degrees toward his cursor. If it's less than 90 degrees, he will stay looking away. It's good to know that Thresh's Q gives true sight, so it's pretty fun to go fishing in things like Akali's Shroud or Talon's Ult Fan, as they will get both stunned and pulled out of their safety too. It is a projectile, and as such it will get eaten up by wind walls. The first tug counts as an airborne. I'm not sure exactly why, but the second tug doesn't, so if you're a Yasuo player you gotta have quick reflexes. One tip to note, especially in lane, is that it has two tugs that last 0.8 seconds, so if you're an ADC that has a skill shot such as Caitlyn, throw your shot in front of the hook or closer to the Thresh, otherwise the hook will just tug them out of your missile. Final bit for the death sentence, it is a good habit to utilizing CDR or ability haste because it synergizes super well with Thresh's Q. For those that don't know, each successful hook, even on minions or monsters, the overall cooldown gets reduced by a flat 3 seconds. So as long as you hit something, you still benefit than if you missed entirely. Make use of this and you can have enemies constantly CC'd because there's no shortage of you fishing. Since it's considered a dash, you cannot reactivate it if you are grounded or rooted. Next up, it isn't only an engage tool, but also a way to disengage because you can grab onto any number of minions, jungle camps, or neutral monsters to plan an escape. It's also worth noting that you can use any ability in your Deathly Leap aside from the box, meaning you can knock somebody aside while you're flying, or you can plan to get away with a friend. I'll show you guys a cool combo later in the tips section that uses the flay. A neat little thing that you may not have known is that if you're trying to escape using the Baron, he doesn't actually aggro you if no one else is near you inside the pit. He's pretty chill like that, he'll just let you slide on by. Dragon on the other hand though. The reason why escaping using minions or neutrals is so easy is because you can activate Deathly Leap with 0 pulses, instantly pulling you to them. The moment you contact the hook with those creatures, you can take it again. But you can go back and look at anywhere else in the video, you have to wait at least 1 pulse on champions before taking the hook. Spell shields like Sivir and Nocturne will prevent the latch or the stun, meaning you can't retake the Q because it never arrived. But Morgana's shield is a little different because it counts more so as a displacement immunity, kinda like Vi ult or Olaf ult. You can't actually CC them, but you can still ride the hook to them. Tenacity affects the Q stun duration, but not the Q latch duration. I'll show you guys many clips of this in the tips section where it's more mechanic based stuff, but the gist is that you wait till the last moment to take the hook because only the stun part of the hook is worn off, but they'll often flash and take you with them. With the previous tip in mind, you can dash to dead enemies this way. Although their body is gone, the latch connection always stays for 1.5 seconds. This next bit is highly practical, important, and has many different interactions, so it's worth getting used to the different forms. Thresh always tracks to the target he's dashing towards. This means that where they go, his hook goes. And where the hook goes, you can go. So don't be afraid to get creative with this as long as you're aware that you can potentially run it, because enemies can flash or dash you under a turret or fountain in this way. This next bit is a bit more so for knowledge rather than practicality, but the maximum range that you can travel with the tracking is 3,000 units. I've ran hundreds of Thresh games since Season 4 and I've only ever encountered this situation once in a real game, so it likely isn't ever going to happen. To date, this Kled hook is the furthest track I've ever had, so odds are it doesn't get too much further than this.
Oh shoot!
Hey, I'm going.
Now back to the W. Thresh's Dark Passage has a cast range of 950, a tether range of 1500, and it'll last until it has been taken, until Thresh walks out of the tether range, or until 6 seconds have passed. It's quite helpful because the lantern has a visual timer that ticks underneath. The shield that the lantern gives is not a whole lot, but it has saved my allies with slivers of health countless times, so don't underestimate its strength or usefulness. I'm going to show a clip of Caitlyn here, and then play back the same clip, with this time showing her HP values. When Thresh walks out of range, or when an ally clicks the lantern, he gets a shield. It is worth noting that because taking the passage counts as dashing, you cannot click on the lantern if you are silenced, rooted, or grounded. Also, because it is a dash, it can be stopped by other forms of CC, such as other knockups, so be careful when you throw it out, or it just goes to waste. Now this next part makes me really sad because I found this out the lame way, but it is classified as a projectile, and therefore gets eaten up by wind walls. I've sometimes had my W wasted because I had no idea where it went in a team fight, so be wary of that. Now, because it is a shield, it'll proc the Guardian rune from far away if you cast it on your ally, and it's also a really cheeky way to pick up effortless assists. Just toss it by an ally who did all the work. It is classified as a unit, and therefore comes with a few features. This means players can dash to it from far away, or they can teleport to it if there's no wards around. Feature-wise, it is essentially a mini ward, so if you're ever unsure about face checking and your gut feeling is telling you something, check with the W before walking through. Now this next bit is a bit of a hit or miss because the practicality of the mechanic, but the lantern offers a tiny bit of a minion block, so you can use it to fuck with people's pathing. The lantern does track Thresh, which can result in a grace period on the 1500 tether range. As far as I know, the grace period only occurs when you're in your deathly leap while the lantern is being grabbed. I will follow up with practical examples and then more advanced mechanics in the tips section, such as the bunny hop. Lastly, as the game progresses and people get better about understanding champion kits, people have gotten pretty good at blocking the lantern clicking. This can be done by warding on top of it, which might cause a doomed situation for the Thresh, but it is sometimes possible for the ally to zoom in really far to see the lantern better and hopefully click on it. However, if a person blocks it with their body, you can counter it by hooking them off of it. Thresh's Flay has two sections, a passive and an active. The first part is a latent ability that winds up over 10 seconds and results in your next auto attack having empowered magic damage, increasing based on time spent not hitting an enemy. The different visual indicators correspond with differing damage levels. Hitting an enemy resets the wind up bonus damage, but hitting wards and turrets do not. The second part is an active ability that sweeps your chains in a target direction. It has a speed of 2000 and a range of 400. It knocks back enemies and slows for 1 second, and sends them 200 units in the direction that you cast it. It can be used to prevent any number of stoppable dashes and leaps. I have compiled an entire list of all the dashes I could come up with, plus a few other movement channels. I'm sure there are a few other channels, but this should be fairly comprehensive. One final thing to note is that casting forwards is slightly slower than casting the flay backwards, as there is a tiny delay since it has to sweep from behind you. Be sure to account for that time lost when countering moves like Leona's E. For Thresh's ultimate, I do not have very many notes that are different than his simplified version since the move is fairly basic. It's quite useful because it is a 99% slow on the first wall and it lasts 2 seconds. It also does pretty significant amounts of magic damage to the first person. Every subsequent person walking through one of the other 4 sides only gets slowed for 1 second, and these walls deal no damage. If you get hit by the slow from one wall, you cannot be slowed by another wall for another second. And finally, no matter what your settings are, the box always goes off as quick cast. Now that we've finished up the in-depth skill breakdown, let's move over to the matchup section, because this section is what largely dictates how you play both the lane and the overall game. I can't break down every single one because that would take too long, but I will do my best to clump them up into little groups. The far left category is the best picks versus Thresh, and that was Liz yelping in the background, so I stopped the recording to go check on her because she's a buffoon. These champions usually have a mixture of either peel, shields, or just too much damage to the point where you can't really engage on them. And the middle category is for the champions that do the worst in Thresh, and most of the time this is because they are melee and have to walk up all the way up into Thresh or his allies to make a play happen, and Thresh can just peel them off with his array of abilities and just mitigate the play. Some of them are also because Thresh can CC them from afar, and once Thresh is on top of them, it's pretty doomed for them, such as Yuumi or Lux or Xerath. I think the only one here that I truly disagree with is maybe Karma, and the reason being champions with movement speed are typically really good into Thresh because it's hard for him to hit his abilities on them, but other than that, I agree with this list pretty consistently. And the last category on the far right is the best lane counters into Thresh, and this is oftentimes because they can typically abuse their superior range and make sure that you cannot use your windows of opportunity, because every time you try and walk up to them, you will usually get a skill shot to the face. This is going to be a bit of a subjective section because everyone struggles up against different matchups, but for me at least, I've found that I struggle pretty highly against Brands, Senna's, Zyra's, and Vel'Koz's because they have too much of range and too much safety as long as they play correctly behind minions. To try and mitigate this, you have to engage level 2 or 3, oftentimes accompanied with your flash, because otherwise you will get poked down, chug through all your potions, and then have to take a bad back and shaft your ADC. From here we are going to be taking a look at the Pyke specific matchup, and although Pyke is currently not a meta champion, I still do think it is a good champion to pick into Thresh, and therefore revisiting the matchup is going to be beneficial. The thing with Pyke is that he can dash through Thresh's Flay if done correctly and get his stun off. He can also just slink into the shadows and then ult you through your shield, because Pyke ignores shields with his execute, and if you try to re-engage on him, he can just invis away. And although I do think that it is a skill matchup, I do think that it leans towards Pyke in lower elos. Now, I know we didn't get to go over every single matchup or intricacy in detail, so I will likely go over that in a video number 2, as I am still learning some of the matchups, but I just wanted you guys to get a general idea of what Thresh struggles against. Long range harass like Brand because he can poke from afar, or key ultimates like Zilean because they just stop his engage entirely. Now we're going to real fast go over the Morgana matchup because many people tend to use her as the primary Thresh counter. Now, although she does come with a spell shield, she only really counters the first hook, and the reason being because if you land a hook on anything and it goes down by 3 seconds, the second hook will come back up about 4 seconds faster than her spell shield, so if you play around the windows of opportunity, you will win this matchup. From here, we're going to be going back and taking a look at the runes in a little bit more depth, and this time I pulled the percentiles for how popular they are from that same website, and we'll just break them down from top to bottom. In the first row, we still have Aftershock and Guardian as the most popular. Aftershock is really good because it gives him the extra armor and MR when Thresh goes in and CCs somebody, and it's especially potent if you end up reactivating the hook and taking the Deathly Leap. I will say though that Guardian in the higher and higher elos, the higher up you go, the Thresh mains up there are really prioritizing the Guardian, and that would be because Guardian has been recently altered a little bit to where it doesn't block low damage abilities like Morgana Pool or Brand Ticks and things like that. Now it actually feels like the rune has a bit more strength behind it because it doesn't feel like it gets wasted on certain auto attacks or low damage abilities. Now it has to reach a certain damage threshold before it gets procced. So I would recommend this into champions like maybe Vel'Koz, Brand, Zyra, Sona, Seraphine, Karma, people that like to chunk you from afar. Now real quick, just a little note, I'm really only going to be focusing on the runes that have a high value attached to them, and the reason being is that these are the most popular runes on Thresh, and the low valued numbers, typically they're that way because they're just not good on Thresh, or they're used so infrequently that the odds of you actually using it are so situational that it's not worth going over. So we're just going to focus on the most popular ones. So in the second row, we have Demolish on the far left and then Font of Life in the middle. Now Font of Life is just going to be your bread and butter move because it's quite good at making sure that your allies stay healthy, because whenever you CC an enemy and your allies hit that CC'd enemy, they heal a portion of it back. And because you have so much CC in your kit, odds are your allies are going to be healing over and over. But I will say this for the Demolish rune, I do think the Demolish has its merits in certain bot lane duos such as Caitlyn's and Tristana's, and now Ziggs. Ziggs is a very viable bot laner now. If you're in a lane that's typically looking to push the lane, get chip damage on the turret, eventually cracking the turret platings and getting gold, leading to good backs, I would go for the Demolish. If you're going for more of a structural damage sort of bot lane rather than a 2v2 skirmish bot lane, I would go for the Demolish because it does pair really well with champions that want to just break at structures. And in the third row we have Bone Plating on the far right and Second Wind in the middle. Now Bone Plating is going to be your most popular rune in about 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 of your games, because this rune prevents you from being engaged on. As the secondary tank, you want to run this into people that want to get in your face, because the first, second, and third hits that they do are not going to do as much to you as long as your rune isn't on cooldown. However, into lanes that have high poke, such as maybe Brand, or Zyra, or Xerath, or Vel'Koz, champions in which you have to play far back because they're going to poke you down, I would recommend the Second Wind, because Second Wind makes it so that a portion of the damage that you've taken gets healed back over time. So I would highly recommend running this rune along with the Guardian rune into some of the more annoying mage bot lanes, because this will make you a lot more durable in the laning phase. And in the final row in Resolve, we've got Overgrowth on the far left and Unflinching on the far right. And these both have decently high values because they're both pretty good runes to choose from, and it's up to you to decide what rune you think is better suited for the game that you're going to be playing in. Now Overgrowth gives you a little bit of HP whenever a unit dies near you, and this is going to be useful because without HP, both armor and MR becomes essentially a useless stat. You need a combination of HP and armor or HP and MR for those values to be potent with each other. Having only one of the stat makes it essentially useless. And Unflinching gives you extra tenacity based on missing health, and this is always good into high CC comps. And then from here we'll move over to the inspiration tree, but for the inspiration tree I actually want to work from bottom to top, that way I can talk about the stopwatch last. So in the bottom row we've got Cosmic Insight at 63.9% on the far left, and then on the far right we've got Time Warp Tonic. Now Cosmic Insight gives you both item CDR and summoner spell CDR, and this pairs super well with your Locket of the Iron Solari and your Shirelius for the item CDR, and for the summoner spell CDR it pairs super well with Ionian Boots of Lucidity because that too lowers your summoner spell CDR, and those two will stack. And from here we will go over to the Time Warp Tonic. Now Time Warp Tonic will make it so that when you're under the effects of a consumable, you will have movement speed, and half of the potion will tick, or half of it will heal you up front. So this applies to health potions, refillable potion, and should you decide to go the biscuits in the second row, it'll apply on those too. Now the biscuits are a consumable that the game automatically puts into your bag at 3 minutes, I believe, and it drops them every 3 minutes up until the 12-minute mark. And these consumables don't heal you for a huge amount, but they give a little bit of mana, a little bit of healing, and if you have the Time Warp, they'll give you the movement speed towards the enemies, and it'll just make your life a little bit easier into the tougher matchups where you need to dodge more and you need a bit more sustain in lane. Now the other two runes in this row aren't very popular, so we'll just move on up to the top row. As far as Hextech Flash Traption on the far left, I see some Threshes using this, but I've personally never been a huge fan. I think that this rune is a lot better on champions like Alistar or Leona. Thresh, for me, I personally like to walk up and get in there myself, so the time warp might be better. Really, I think it comes down to playstyle. If it's something that you enjoy doing, it could work out for you. I've just personally never run it myself. And on the far right, the stopwatch is my favorite rune by far for Thresh, because I have found that it has helped my life on countless occasions in many different dives and scenarios, and I'll be showing you guys all those in a little bit here. But first, we're going to go over the subrunes. Now, I've noticed that many higher elo Thresh players actually are prioritizing at least 1 point in the adaptive, but many of them are actually putting 2 in adaptive and then 1 in armor. I think a lot of them are really looking to harass their enemies early on, and because of the double adaptive rune, you're able to just walk up with your empowered flay and just chunk the enemy ADC for maybe 20-ish% of their HP. So if you are looking to play aggressive, I would recommend doing at least 1 adaptive into armor into MR, or 2 adaptive armor, and that way you can get a lot more potency in lane. Now I'm going to go back and hit the stopwatch again real quick before I show you guys some examples, because this is my favorite rune to take on Thresh, and I'll show you guys why in a few seconds here. But maybe 2 years ago or so, I used to think that this was a bit of a meme rune, and I used to shit talk it, and in one of the full game examples you'll see me doing that. But as of maybe the last year, it's become a staple in every game that I run. Now I'm going to show you guys in a second here why I love this rune so much. It has saved my life on more than one occasion, and in other occasions it has let me make plays in places where I otherwise would not have been able to. So here's a quick montage of the different fun ways that you can use the stopwatch. You gotta remember, the goal is to tilt the fuck out of your enemies, and stopwatch is very, very good at that. From here, we're gonna go back and revisit the skill max order. So I went back to the same website and picked out the 3 most popular ones rather than just 1. And looking at this, it looks like in all of them, the Q is still the primary max, because people really like having the CDR on that, and then it switches between either W or E. I'm assuming depending on whether you want to have your W up more often or if you want to have your flay up more often. It really depends on the game. But I will say this, into melee matchups in lane, you need to go at least 3 points into your E. Your page needs to look something like this, because into Rel or Alistar or Leona matchups, you're trolling if you're trying to hook them. You want to be chunking them with autos. From here, let's go and look at the different items, but we'll start off simple and start with the boots section. Immediately, we can knock off 2 things off this list as shit that you're not going to want to build unless you're trying to actively run down your game. And then from there, we'll go from left to right and go over the different boots, its functions, and situations in which you'd want to build them. On the far left, you've got Boots of Speed, and the Boots of Speed you typically want to buy in every first back if you can. That way you can roam mid and make an impact in that lane, and also be useful in the bot lane skirmishes for the Scuttle Crabs at 315, and finally be able to dodge the skill shots in your own lane. Now, the boots on the right of that, I build so infrequently that I don't even know the names of these boots. I think it's like slightly magical boots or some shit like that. Now, the issue with these boots is that, yes, you're getting them for free, but you don't get them until either 10 or 12 minutes. So the problem with that is that, yes, you're saving 300 gold and you don't have to buy the Boots of Speed, but if you're trying to affect the map, you can't do that. And you're essentially gating yourself by not being able to have movement speed in lane or to be able to roam. So unless you're looking to stomp lane and you're looking to stay in lane and also save a bit of gold, I would never go these boots. And to the right of that, we have the boots of Swifties, and these boots are going to be in your top 3 for boots to build on Thresh, along with Lucids and Mobies. Now, Swifties are super good because they have the second fastest movement speed aside from Mobies when you're not in combat, so I would highly recommend building these boots in most situations that require you to be mobile and moving around on the map, because they offer a lot of slow resistance and will give you a lot of speed that the Mobies may not give you if you're fighting often. Now, the boots to the right of that, the Ionian Boots of Lucidity, these boots give you both normal haste and summoner spell haste, and this is super useful if you're trying to be proactive, flashing and igniting, or flashing and exhausting and looking to make plays around the map, and if you want the CDR to synergize with your Q. From there, we have boots of mobility, and if you're a person that loves to roam, go Moby boots, because these are the boots that'll allow you to be flying around the map and get from point A to B and be able to help out maybe your Graves in the jungle who's trying to play out a skirmish, and then go from there to the top lane to help your Yorick who needs to get a good back off. You know, you have a lot of different options when you go the Moby boots. And then from there, you have the, I think they're called the plated steel caps now, or the old name was the ninja tabis, and these boots are super efficient into high physical damage comps because they not only give you armor, but they also give you damage reduction on basic attacks. So these apply to things like GP, Ezreal, Yone, and Yasuo Qs because they are extensions of auto attacks, so in comps like that it's going to be very useful. And then the far right we have Mercury Treads. These are the boots that are going to be giving you both magic resist and tenacity. These are typically my go-to boots in comps like Morgana's, but really any sort of high lockdown, these are the boots to go for. From here we're going to be taking a look at all the different items that aren't boots. So I went ahead and I sort of looked at all the different items that I believe that Thresh could potentially run and have broken them down into 4 categories. The first one is the niche category, and I believe both Doran Shield and QSS can fit into this group. One important thing to note that I feel a lot of the lower elo players don't quite understand is that each game is a completely different game, and that means that you have to build and prepare each game differently than you did the last. One thing that I've sort of seen is that a lot of players sort of pick a build, stick to a build, and then they don't understand why the build works and then get stuck on that build. But the reality is that you have to be willing to adapt to each game, adapt to each matchup, and essentially play out each new game as an entirely different playstyle. And so I feel like in some situations the Doran Shield can be useful, such as really heavy poke bot lanes like Brand, Twitch, Zyra, or Xerath, and the tick champions in particular, because each tick will refresh the Doran Shield. The only real downside is that you're losing 450 gold towards your mythic item, but this along with Second Wind is super useful. Now the QSS is super useful into champions like Set, Skarner, and Mouse because they're all suppressions, they're ultimates, but also into champions like Ashe because she can stun you from super far away. Now if you're the primary peel and you're getting picked off, that's a problem. You have to be willing to say, fuck it, I'm going to build a QSS, build the QSS, and then cleanse and save your team when it's necessary. And then from here, let's go and take a look at Magic Resist. Now the issue with Magic Resist is that there aren't a lot of good tank Magic Resist items, so I've really boiled it down to 3 items for Thresh. Force of Nature on the far left, Abyssal Mask in the middle, and Mikhail's Crucible on the far right. Now Force of Nature gives you MR, HP regen, and it gives you movement speed when you get tagged by an ability. So this ability will be really good into mages that have a lot of different skill shots. So if you get tagged by one, you'll just end up moving faster and faster. So if you need the movement speed and they have a lot of MR, go this item. Now the one to the right of that I've labeled in green to signify your team rather than enemy team. This item pairs super well when you have a heavy damage comp on your team, but more specifically true damage. When you impair the movement of the enemies, they take more damage if you have Abyssal Mask. This includes true damage. So if you have somebody like a Vayne and you want her to do more damage, hook somebody and then watch her just pop off. Now the far right, Mikhail's Crucible. This item is my favorite item in the whole game. This item allows you to be able to cleanse and heal your allies whenever they get slowed, snared, or stunned. And I always build it into comps that have Ashes, Morganas, Luxes, champions that can root or impair you from far away. I value this item so much that I will rush it before my mythic because I believe that it's more valuable than the actual mythic is. And then from here, we're going to be looking over potential viable armor items on Thresh. So from left to right, we have Knight's Vow, then Frozen Heart, then Dead Man's Plate, then Zeke's Convergence, then Randuin's Omen, and then Gargoyle's Stone Plate, and then far right we have the Thorn Mail. So let's go over each and every single one and when and why I think you should build them. So for Knight's Vow and Zeke's Convergence, I put them in a green box along with the Vayne icon to signify your team's hyper carry. Now, if you have a hyper carry that you trust and that you feel is doing well but needs a little bit more peel, a little bit more damage reduction, go the Knight's Vow. And then similarly, if you have a hyper carry that is doing super well or a hyper carry that you trust, but the enemy team is just slinking away with blinking red HP bars in team fights, or you feel that your carry could just use a little bit of push on damage, you can go Zeke's Convergence. And then from here, let's go and take a look at the items inside the red box. The red section represents all enemy champions. So there's actually this idea or this concept that's in my head that I want to try and share with you guys because I feel that it's necessary and important to this conversation. So I'm going to do my best to tell you guys what it is. Hopefully I don't stumble over my words too much, so forgive me here. But some items may have only partial effectiveness in negating the enemy team's maybe stats when it comes to armor or MR, but there might be a stat line within your item that has full potency against their comp. And let me follow up with an example that might make this make a bit more sense. So for example, on the enemy team, let's say you have an AP kill, an AP twitch, a Diana mid, and then some other attack speed user in the jungle that doesn't necessarily use armor or crit. The thing to note here is that even though they're not doing much physical damage, they all scale off of attack speed and they all benefit off of attack speed. So yes, this might mean that you potentially shaft yourself because you don't possess the right stat line against the enemy team's damage type, but maybe because of you standing in the enemy team with a Frozen Heart, you slow down their attack speed enough to where your team can retaliate, get on top of the carries, kill the carries, get a Baron, win the game. So it's kind of you screw yourself but maybe help your team. I don't know, it's kind of an idea that I'm sort of fiddling the idea with. Maybe into certain comps the item may not hold full potency stat wise, but there might be a line within the item that might be super good into a comp. So it's just something to think about. Next up we have Randuin's Omen, and this item is really good into highly mobile, highly crit, and highly AD damage comps. And the reason why this item is so sort of loaded is because it has both a passive and an active. The passive is almost the same as the Frozen Heart passive because it builds out of Glacial Shroud. It lowers the damage on certain auto attacks. I believe it's slightly less than the Frozen Heart. I believe it's 5 for Randuin's and then 7 for the Frozen Heart. And then the active makes it so that when you walk over the enemies and you apply the item, it releases a sort of shockwave in a small diameter around you, and the enemies caught in that shockwave will get slowed and their attack damage gets lowered. Now this is super useful into champions like Yasuo and Graves because they have high crit, high damage, and high mobility, but it will be useful really into any marksman because they all utilize crit. But if you ever really need to get on top of the enemies and slow down their attack damage, this item is the one for you. Now up next we're going to go over to Deadman's, and I essentially think this item is pretty much useless because you don't get much value out of it. Now you get movement speed and you get a empowered auto that charges up when you reach 100 stacks, but Thresh can't even utilize that because that doesn't work on ranged champions. So I just kept that item here because it is an armor item. So if you need the movement speed for whatever reason and the armor, this item could be your go-to, but odds are I don't ever really see you building this. Now Gargoyles is if you are the one and only tank in your team and you need to be the one that gets in the thick of the battle and make sure that you stay alive, this is the item for you. Make sure there's around 3 to 4 people, and if you pop it, you get a massive shield. Now finally, we have Thornmail, and again, this isn't going to be the item that you're going to be building in most of your games. If you're ever playing a game and your teammates aren't building the Grievous Wounds and you desperately need it, and you're also the main tank, use this in conjunction with the Gargoyle Stoneplate, and you could be a useful frontline. The issue is, I really don't see you building this very much because there's just better armor items out there for you. And the final list, the other / miscellaneous category, in where I've put all the other Thresh items. From left to right, we have the Watchful Wardstone, Redemption, Warmogs, Anathema's Chains, the new item, Locket of the Iron Solari, and Shirelia's Battle Song. Now the Watchful Wardstone and the Redemption, you're likely going to want to build every single game because they're too useful to not build. The Wardstone allows you to have 1 extra ward of each kind of ward, both normal and vision ward, and it kind of offers a little pouch that you can hold your pink wards in late game, so even if you are a full item Thresh, you can still have pink wards at the end of the game. Redemption is just always going to be useful because you're going to be able to heal your allies and change around the nature of a team fight, or potentially tank a Baron that you otherwise couldn't. There's just too many uses for the Redemption. Warmogs, this will go along with something like the Gargoyles or the Redemption. You're going to want it if you're the primary tank, and you just need to heal up a lot. Now Anathemas is the new item, and this lets you place a Vendetta among the enemy team, and the player that you've chosen to have the Vendetta against, they do up to 30% less damage against you. This item is actually super useful because unless you are playing against a comp that has a Talon maybe, or a Diana, or a Karthus, someone that's looking to burst your team, or someone that can do damage from afar, you don't actually need to build your Locket right away. Locket is actually not that useful stat-wise, so you can actually build the Anathema's Chains, stack up your Vendetta, and then use it against the enemy team's Hypercarry, and then be durable against them. Odds are it's a bit more of a situational item, but still, you don't always have to build your Locket right away. Which does lead us into the next item, the Locket of the Iron Solari, one of the 2 viable mythic items. This is going to be your anti-burst item, and this item is super good, again, into champions like the Talon, the Diana, the Karthus, maybe the Zeds, the Brands, champions that want to get on top of your face, champions that want to do a lot of damage from afar. This is going to be your item. And it's nice too because the champions near you get added MR and armor for every other legendary item that you have. However, the next mythic item has been growing in popularity among most Thresh players, and this item gives you haste and movement speed, so I think that's why a lot of them are moving over to this item. They are valuing the ability to throw out more skills like the old Thresh build did, where you would go Kindle Gem into Glacial Shroud into the blue boots, and the what's that? It's that one inspiration, it's that one support item that gives you mana regen. Forbidden Idol, I think. And you would previously build those 4 items, and you would have, I think, 35 or 45% CDR with the 5% CDR in your runes. So you would be able to constantly throw out stuff. This is kind of the same idea with the Shirelias and the mythic passive that it gives, which is ability haste on every other legendary item that you purchase. You're just going to be constantly able to have little downtime on your abilities and be able to get people out of trouble or constantly throw hooks. It's just a very useful ability, along with the active, which just gives your team movement speed. So overall, really good item. So from here, we're going to be taking a look at the early, mid, and late stages of the game. And although every game is going to be a different scenario, this is my rough rubric for how I approach every game. I like to first start off by invading to try and get as early of an advantage that I can for my team. And one thing to note is that we're going to be looking at one main game, but I will add side examples from different games. This game right here, the Clash game, is going to be our main game. So after the invade, typically you want to go to lane, play aggressive, push for level 2, and then go for an all-in on their carry. It is perfectly okay to expand one or both of your summoners. This is a side example showing that if you reach level 2 first, odds are you're going to make the winning trade. And then afterwards, going back to that same Clash game, right after that kill, immediately I roam mid because we pushed the wave in and there's no reason for me to be bot anymore. Immediately, I hit the lane that the Ahri is in. I don't actually know if she had flash or not. She may have expended it early. Or maybe she was cocky and just didn't use it. But regardless, we got a free kill out of it. And this is probably the fastest kill that Sunny has ever gotten in his life. And from here, we're going to be taking a look at a variety of different games that showcase different roaming sequences and how I typically decide when or when not to roam. One thing to note that is important is take a look at where my ADC is when I am committing to the roam. Odds are they are either pushing the wave in and the wave is going for a reset, or they are not even in lane, so I would really roam when I know that my ADC is safe. Or if I know that my ADC is bad and I'm not really trying to cater to them, I'll be roaming. Or if my ADC is super good and I know that they can 1v2, I'm also roaming. There's really a variety of different reasons to roam, but one of the biggest things that I have found is you need to win other people's lanes for them. Mid lane is typically a 2v2 or 3v3 lane, so if you're not in the mid lane as a support, odds are your mid laner is going to be playing a 1v3. One important thing to note is that you don't actually have to hit the skill shot while you're roaming. If you make them make a bad movement, that in itself is a successful gank. Here on the way back to lane, you always want to be looking at the map, hitting tab, and making sure that you are soaking in as much information as possible. Come back to lane and get another successful trade on their bot lane. Now it's okay that the Ezreal doesn't actually die, because since we chunked him out, this means that me, Spicy, and Shannon are able to go for a early dragon. All of this was made possible by the fact that Yuumi had to expend her mana to keep the Ezreal alive, and Ezreal's HP is low. Afterwards, we are going to be looking at a clip that showcases how well Thresh can do in a 2v3 scenario. Because of the nature of his kit and his peeling capabilities, you can actually turn around most ganks if played correctly. And one more thing to note is that after the turret goes down, don't be afraid to go back into their jungle and look for easy kills. From here, you're going to want to transition over to the mid game after the turrets are broken. The thing about the mid game though is that the mid game has the most variables and differences between game to game, so I can't account for every single one, but as a general rule, I like to go mid lane with my ADC so that I can have priority over bot and top lane fights, and then zone the enemies off from their buffs. If the enemies end up being silly and walking up to us, you can just get free picks this way. From here, you can then look to transition further and further into their jungle, get deep wards in, and back your ADC up if they go for any aggressive plays. If you're far ahead enough, you can honestly take a little riskier plays than you usually would, but slow and steady usually will win you the game. Afterwards, you can then look to getting more control over the rest of their buffs and warding up one side of their jungle. Typically it's going to be impossible to ward up both sides, so I would have your team pick a side, typically the side that the next objective is coming up, and ward that side so that you are free to contest. And when the enemy jungle tries to walk up and do something about the buff, if you are not a DPS, unless you're playing something like a brand that does DPS to the actual objective, maybe like Zyra, then you can just be on the outskirts zoning the enemy from coming out. Last but not least, if you're on the back foot and you are looking to play primary engage, you can sit back and just go fishing, because odds are, for whatever reason, NA has the tendency to just sit mid and ARAM instead of splitting the lanes and getting pressure. So you can sit mid with your ADC and go fishing for hooks. This isn't really recommended because the higher up you go, this is not so good, but fuck it, it can work out. And last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at the late game, and by late game you are typically going to be looking to getting Baron and ending the game. Again, this comes back to objective dancing. You're going to want to stand on the outskirts, get pink wards in, and dance around the objective. You don't actually have to take the objective, because odds are they're going to face check you, as they did in the last one, and they will do as such in this clip too. If there is just a black sort of path between them and the objective, eventually they will get antsy enough to want to see, you know, what's up, are they doing it, are they not? Eventually the curiosity will get the better of them, and one of them will walk into you. If not, they just lose the objective, so it does create a lose-lose scenario. So in situations like this, if you get deep wards in, litter the map with pink wards, and then get ready outside the objective, either you get the objective for free, or you just kill them on the way, and then you get the objective for free. Either which way, you get a massive spike in tempo and gold. With the Baron siege power, you can typically just walk it into their base and look for the final push. I don't really like to look for final pushes if we don't have the means to actually end the game, because otherwise we're just feeding super minions into their base for free, which gives them time to farm. But I think in this game we were so far ahead that it just works out. One important thing to note is that in late game it's very important to hide behind the fog of war and different walls to achieve hooks, because odds are people aren't going to be dumb enough to let you just walk up to them and hook them. Now we are up to my favorite section in the whole video, the tips and tricks portion, where I show you guys all the mechanical and psychological aspects of Thresh that'll hopefully get you leads in your games and eventually result in wins. I have sorted the tips out in order from difficulty from beginner to intermediate to finally advanced, and within each section I have tried to arrange the tips by either mechanical difficulty or just difficulty in simply remembering the mechanic in the moment. In parts of this section, I would recommend watching this more than once because I do go through some of the tips really fast. However, the more complex tips I do take my time and show plenty of examples. One important thing to note is that although this is a Thresh guide, not every tip is going to be a Thresh tip. Some might be just overall game tips, such as the first one. We are going to kick it off with a redemption tip. You don't always have to use it for its primary function. Remember, much like the lantern, you can just use it to get assists. Up next, drop the ego, don't be a hero. Odds are you're not going to be the primary engage, so let someone else with CC engage first and then follow up afterwards. The next one is a two-parter with both the lantern and the box. If your ADC is splitting, stand watch with your lantern ready. And if the enemies pursue, drop your box in the corners. They typically don't want to pursue after that. Next up, if you wanted a tip to land your hook a little bit more easily, first walk up and throw your flay out and then chain it with the hook. Odds are, if you do it correctly, they won't have time to move at all. In the next section, we are going to be taking a look at some creative hook angles. This first one is one of my favorite ones. We can call it the over-the-wall blast cone hook. What you do is you simply ward over this little wall and you wait for the enemies to walk back to lane. And then, up next, we have the nook hook, which is to hide in the fog of war behind the Direst wall, and you throw your hook from there as they push up closer to your turret. And then we have the waterfall hook, because it's going to be right under this little waterfall, where you throw the hook into the fog of war from the fog of war. And if they're walking up to the lane, sometimes it might hit them. And finally, another one of my favorite hooks to throw is the Raptor Pit hook, in which you stand inside the camp and toss it into the mid lane. Here's one from my point of view where I am the one doing the hooking, and another that I will show where I'm the one getting hooked. This next upcoming tip is going to be just another overall game tip, but it is going to be useful as a Thresh player. The faster you click and the closer you click to your character, it'll give you more control over your champion, which means that you can dodge easier and it'll allow for outplays. This next one I've only ever done once, but I found it to be hilarious. You can use your lantern to fuck with the enemies and make them think that you're on their team. Next up, champion with shadows and clones or mimics, you can throw your skill at their initial spot and sometimes it'll hit their mark. One thing to note is that for Kain, you can hook him out of walls and make him an even sadder boy. And last but not least, in the beginner section, you can use your flash to redirect your double pulses into a different direction. This next section, the prediction portion, will have crested us over onto the side of what I have deemed as the intermediate level of Thresh tips. Now I do realize, and this is one important thing to note, is that this section could be potentially harmful or dangerous. And the reason being, I don't want you guys to get sucked into the idea of Raj told you so, I showed you this guide, so obviously people are going to dodge in the way that he shows you. That's just simply not true. It's just that I've come to the realization that after years of playing this game, and specifically this champion, when you position yourself in certain angles and trajectories and also stay within a certain range, when you throw the hook, I have found that you will have a higher odds of landing the hook due to people having similar dodging tendencies. So this first hook is going to be called the Korean backwards dodge, and the idea behind it is that if you're coming in from the direction west and the enemies are hugging the wall and running north, as your hook is coming out, they're going to dip down to try and dodge your hook. Now, I know that I'm just essentially showing you guys the same exact play, it's just on different people and in different games, but that's kind of the idea here. I'm just trying to show you guys that this is going to be the most common hook you throw out, and when you do throw this hook out, you're typically going to be positioned from below the enemy champion. Now, this one is going to be the same exact one, it's just the inverse, so I'll call it the inverse Korean dodge, in which people dodge up instead of down because you're coming in from above them rather than below them. On your screen, if we're looking from Thresh's point of view, it's going to look like they're dodging to your left and then towards you. Noting these patterns and finding these predictions can be pretty funny sometimes because you're essentially just exploiting people's muscle memories of how they've been taught to dodge and then using it against them. So many times they end up just walking into your hook. This upcoming clip is from a ranked game a few years ago, it's from the enemy team's brand, and I have no vision of him when I throw the hook.
No.
This upcoming hook is the same play, this time you're just on the side of the alcove. This upcoming one is going to be the final iteration of the Korean dodge. This time you're coming in from their right and below them, and on your screen it's going to look like they're dodging to your left and towards you. One thing to note is that this hook typically becomes present when it's you ganking the mid lane. Now this next hook I'm going to start talking about well in advance because I don't know what to name it, so I'll just come up with one, and I'll call it the pathing correction hook. The idea behind it is that the enemy feigns like they're going in one direction, and at the last moment they'll autocorrect and make a sharp turn in the other direction. Two things I've noticed with this hook is that one, it typically happens when you're diagonal to the enemy, and then secondly, if there are bushes present, they'll fake like they're walking towards a bush and then last minute walk out of it, or walk out of a bush and then last minute go into one. This upcoming hook is the Vayne hook, and I'm going to pause here to see if you guys can guess where she's going to dodge. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip here in a sec, but before I do, I am going to give a hint to see if it'll help you guys guess. I call it the Vayne hook because many times it's Vayne players that do this, but I can also call it the obstacle hook. I guess like the mindset or reasoning behind this movement is that when the Vayne players see a turret or a point like a corner of a wall, they'll try to tumble backwards almost as if they can go through it. And one thing to note is that this dodge tendency is not applicable to only Thresh players. This next tip we will call the panic flash hook, I suppose. The idea behind it is you bait the enemies into your turret by letting yourself or your ally get low, and then when their guard is down you flash and then you hook them into the turret. And of course this tip can be used on any number of champions, but I think some of the best ones are Thresh and Blitz. Oh, and Nautilus. I Can't believe I forgot my boy. Next up, we're going to have some tips on when it makes sense to throw a hook. The first one is throw a hook whenever the enemy ADC is trying to last hit a minion, because it plants them in place and prevents them from being able to move. And then the one after that, throw your hook when the enemy minion is about to die, because right as it is about to die, your hook will go through and connect with the champion. Up next, we have a clip that showcases the tracking mechanic. It's not exactly perfect, but if you have someone like a Lucian who takes the Q on your ally, you can try to lantern them out and make him go even further than he was trying to. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at what to do when you and a friend are in danger and are being pursued. You want to get into the habit of flashing and throwing your lantern, and in this way your ADC is able to save his or her flash, and you cover a lot more distance this way. Next clip, I told you guys that I was going to show you a cool little clip involving the flay while I was taking the hook, and this is that clip. This next one is more or less about being aware of your surroundings and using what's around you to your advantage. Here I flayed the Galio into the Caitlyn trap. Remember, you do have a variety of tools at your disposal when it comes to being able to peel, so be sure to use as much of it as you can. Remember, you can use enemy champions as a way to escape from threats. Here I was able to take the hook and ride to set and escape from the echo. Next up is one of my favorite ways to start off a gank, and it is achieved by lanterning behind you, walking up a little bit, and then flashing after the person has taken the lantern, and because you track, the person comes all the way with you and into the lane. From here, we're going to be taking a look at dash prevention. Because you have two different ways to stop people from dashing, I'm just going to show you guys a quick little montage of different ways that you can stop different champions from being able to abuse their high mobility. Some of these mechanics and interactions you guys may have not seen, so hopefully this ends up being useful to you. One thing to note is before you throw out your abilities, think about what the champion wants to do. Think about what the player is trying to achieve. Get in their head and figure out ways in which you can try and outplay them. One of the things that I commonly see is that people try to use their surroundings to escape. So one such example could be minions. If you see someone trying to dash to a minion, throw your hook at the minion and not at where they are right now. Next up, I'm going to show you guys a series of plays that I'm going to call the lantern catch-up mechanic. Now, if you guys have seen my earlier video, it was one of the support guide videos on triangle zones. If the triangle becomes obtuse, if the distance between you and your ADC becomes too large, oftentimes you cannot engage. So the way to counter this with Thresh, if the enemy happens to flash or dash away, you lantern behind you and you make sure that the triangle becomes smaller again. This next bit is a tip that shows that you don't actually have to land your hook on the actual champion for it to be useful. If you know that they don't have flash, use the 0 pulses on a minion to get close to them and then get on top of them that way. From here, we're going to be looking at something called the useless box. Now, in many ways, your box can function in the same way a Veigar cage can. Many players, if you just drop a box around them, they'll just dance inside your cage and it won't do a whole lot. If your goal is to keep them trapped in there for follow-up, it's fine, but if your goal is to damage or slow them, they just dance in the middle. So, in order to prevent that, you want to combo like this. You hook, you box, and then you flay the enemy into the box, making it so that they are forced to take both the damage and the slow. Now, this next step is going to be one of my favorite tips. It's going to be a very important tip, and it plays off of the 90-degree angle hook tip that I showed you earlier, in which you don't have to be facing the direction that you actually throw the hook. Now, the idea behind the hook focus is I believe that the hook is a lot more of an important CC than the flay is, so you want to be hitting one person and focusing on them, and you can flay one person and then in the middle of the fight switch over to the next person with your hook. This will throw them off because it gives them a false sense of security. Since you're focused on somebody else, the quick change of target selection will make it so that they typically get bursted down and then just die. So I'll be showing you guys a bunch of examples that showcase this idea. Now my friends, we have finally made it over into the advanced section of the Thresh tips, and this portion is going to be my favorite portion to show you. And not only is this my favorite section, this is also my favorite mechanic within my favorite section. This first one is called the Mad Life. If you are an avid support player and you don't know who Mad Life is, first of all, shame on you. But real talk, he was the pioneer for support players back in season, I believe, 2 to 3. He essentially paved the way for support players to transition into a more of a playmaking and carry role. Prior to him, I think supports were mostly just seen as like moving wards and meat shields. So the move, the Mad Life, is being able to predict somebody's dash or flash and throw your skill shot to their end location before they reach the end location. And Mad Life is the one who popularized this move, and it's super fun to be able to try and go fishing for these dashes. Now that we know what the Mad Life is, I want to build on top of that. This one is called the level 2 Mad Life. If you flash on an enemy at level 2 and they're still level 1, odds are they're going to get afraid and flash in a different direction. And even if you miss your hook, you still get their flash.
Okay. Oh, you're...
This upcoming section is all about minions, hitboxes, and stuff of that nature. Now, I like this clip a lot, and I'll show it a few times because it shows what can happen if you and your ADC are on the same page. Many times when you're walking up to cast a hook, the minions end up aggroing you because you're the one in front, and you will just throw the hook and grab a minion. But because minions always aggro towards who's hitting them, if your ADC can hit them away from you and take the aggro away from your hook, then it actually creates a path for you to be able to land your hook. Now the next bit is all about minion hitboxes versus champion hitboxes, and the goal here is to be able to throw your hook just outside the minion's hitbox and curve it around so that it hits the champion instead. Now these are gonna look kind of wonky to you, but I will show it to you in many different forms, and then also slow it down so you guys have an idea of what I mean. So we looked earlier at throwing hooks around the minions so that you can abuse the hitboxes of the champions, but here we're gonna actually look at throwing hooks in between minions, because a little I guess mechanic that minions do is oftentimes they'll sort of spread out and disperse and create gaps within the minion waves, and your primary goal is to look and kind of train yourself to have the eye to see these gaps and throw your hook in between those gaps, essentially catching your enemy with their pants down. So to do this tip or trick effectively, you want to try and recognize these gaps in minions before they even occur. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of my thought process as I approach this mechanic. If you can kill that minion for me, I'll have a path to throw my hook. Thresh. Like so. You like the callouts?
Love it.
The premise behind this move is to use the grace period between your W and your Q interaction and your flash to create a long link between you and your ally to catch up to enemies. I will show you guys a few clips and then slow it down to show you guys what I really mean by this. So as you can see, when I throw out my lantern to my ally and they take it, I'm actually extending past the lantern sort of diameter, the range that it's supposed to be. And the only reason is because a grace period appears, it exists because I'm in the middle of my queue as they're taking it. So with the bunny hop, this concludes the tips and tricks section. So this bit is going to be the transition period in between the end of the tips into the beginning of the matches section. Now I know this section is going to be the brunt of the video. It'll likely cash in around 2 to 2.5 hours long because it is 4 full-length matches that are each somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes long. But it would mean a lot to me if you guys did take the time to going ahead and watching these games. All of these games are piloted by me. I went ahead and commented and narrated over 3 out of the 4 games. And in these games, I essentially narrated the games from my point of view. I shared my thoughts, my ideas, my strats, my vision of the game, and what I thought that we could do to win the game. Hopefully these games sort of put you in the front seat of what a Thresh main sees when they play the game. Now I'm going to share with you guys a little rundown of what's to come in each game, so hopefully this makes you guys a bit more curious and interested for what's to come. I'll try and go over this quick. Game 1, it was up against an Ashe and a Maokai bot lane, so heavy poke. Game went super well. I was able to implement a lot of the things in the guide into this game. This game actually happened a few days after I filmed the guide, so it was more recent than the actual guide. And lastly, this is the game to watch if you want to see how to win by sheer aggression and brute force and just take the game into your own hands. Game 2, Varus and Nami was the enemy bot lane. They also have an element of poke, but they also bring sustain, so this is the game to see how to play up against that. Also a good game, but not as clean as game number 1, but still has good intuition and map sense and roaming by me. Game 3, it was up against a Lucian and a Blitzcrank, and this is the game where I got absolutely smashed. So this game, you guys get to see how we could potentially come back and play from a deficit. Game 4 was with my duo Ashe and I. He was playing Lucian, so early game champion, but the enemy team had, I think, a 4 tank comp, and this was one of the most intense games I've ever played, so this is the game to watch to see how to peel and how to carry and how to do well in a 2v2, sort of almost a 2v8 game. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and yeah, let's get to it. Alright, what's going on, y'all? This is going to be the first game that we look at, the first full game, and I'm going to try and walk you guys through what I'm thinking throughout the majority of the game. This is a brand new game. I played this I think 4 days ago. Let me check. Yes, 4 days ago, so this isn't an old video by any means. This was actually played after I filmed the majority of the guide, so I'm gonna actually try and incorporate many of the things that I taught in the guide and put it in the actual video. As you guys can see, we actually had an Akshan ban, I think, or no, Akshan was there in the champion select recently. So this was on patch 11.15, so this was the patch where Thresh's flays increased, the patch that he was nerfs on. So far it looks like they are going for a poke bot lane, so I have to play accordingly, and I believe I changed over from my typical bone plating to second wind because I like to have that little bit of regen once I get chunked down. I'm gonna also bring down the volume just a tad here so that the audio doesn't double up. If I end up saying anything useful in the actual video in real time, then I will incorporate that back into the video, but for now I'm gonna just voice over it because I'm gonna pretend as if I'm voicing over it in real time, because I don't think I've changed much from a player 4 days ago to now. But if I did say something in real time that I felt was important, then I'll add it back in post and I'll distinguish that that was something I said originally. So I'm liking your team so far. It looks like we're going for a lot of damage, but I don't like the fact that we don't have any real solid frontline other than me. It would have been nice had the top played something else, but for now this should be fine. This is solo queue after all. People don't like playing tanks. I do like my bot lane though. Lucian is one of my favorite ADCs to play with. I think my tier list, in no particular order, is Lucian, Tristana, Caitlyn, and Draven, because they have really good follow-up for whenever you do engage. So I think in this game I'm going to do my best to just shove the bot lane in, get as much poke damage off, and then try to roam mid, because mid should already be winning against the Ziggs, since he can win well most of the Ziggs' moves except the ultimate. So if I can get him even further ahead, this should snowball the game pretty nicely. Let me see if there's anything worth noting. Wow, that was really fast. I think I caught the Ashe having TP, so I don't actually believe that they have a heal bot lane. So we need to look to definitely punish that. Also, for those that don't know, I play Thresh with E on Slowcast. He's one of the few champions that I do that on. Ziggs also has TP, so he doesn't have a defensive summoner. So far, and Rengar with the exhaust, nothing too important. We're gonna take the original path that I had labeled out in the thing. I'm gonna throw it to the left because that is typically the move that they do. They walk one direction and then they'll flip to the other direction at the last moment. Should be a free kill, perfect. That goes to Rise too, so that's probably his tier. That's pretty massive actually. This doesn't look like it's gonna lead to anything. They're too close to their turret. From here, I should be getting one more health potion so that I can have even more sustain against their poke lane, which is just absolutely massive. So upon hitting tab, Rise did get, looks like one more potion and a sapphire crystal, which is absolutely fucking massive for him. He gets to get sort of expedited towards his I want to say Rise's build Everfrost, so that's going to be very useful for him. So my leash isn't going to be as useful because I don't have the flay auto, but that's okay. Did what we could. Walk up. Hopefully Lucian doesn't hit these so I don't lose the XP. Okay, I think we're fine. Now we're just gonna dance in between the minions, exerting pressure by just existing. As long as you don't stay still, you exert pressure. My guy walks a little too close, hook him. That actually was a decent bit of damage. He just kind of... I don't really know what that was. He just kind of griefed that. Now he has to play like a bitch because he just did that. Let's see, now we are shoving for level 2 and we throw it down. Yep. Because that's how everyone dodges, and I got a pretty nice flay there. I don't typically like getting the early kills. I mean, I do and I don't. I don't because the ADC sometimes get tilted, and I do because it gives me early boots, so... Somehow a Yasuo got 1v1'd by Ziggs, which is very uncharacteristic. I don't know if there was like a gank there or something, or... That was super strange, but that's okay. From here, same thing. I don't have to back right away because we're in no real danger. I just saw Rengar path topside as well, so we are a-okay. From here, keep dancing. Avoid the bushes now because he got his sapling and I don't want to just take free poke for free. I mean, I have second wind, but there's no real reason to proc that rune when you don't have to. Walking up, getting a ward for the Rengar. I had a feeling that he was here, and there he was. And so I warded above the thing, so when the blast cone does spawn, we know where he is in case he decides to hop over. Got a hook on Ashe. I threw it right next to the minions, but not directly on the minions. And then this one I managed to just get because she had no heal. And Lucian got pushed too far back from the Maokai. I wonder if my lantern had run out or if he had already taken it. I wonder if there's a way for him to get that kill without using flash. I don't actually believe that there was a way, so this is totally fine. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a stack for the Canoon, but that's okay. From here, this isn't the best back, but I don't actually see the Maokai freezing this. I don't think they're good enough players to do that. No, Ashe came back and they started hitting it. So, I'm gonna back. I believe I rush my boots so that I can get the most mobility. The reason why I go Swifties is because both Maokai and Ashe have slows. Ziggs has a slow. What's the rest of their team? Rengar has a slow with his Bola. And Viego has... He may have a slow with his ulti actually. Once he slams down. So you get super good value and it gives the most movement speed aside from Mobies. So all in all, it's a really good pair of boots. I'm gonna hit this in this direction so that Yasuo can have a free... It's either 10 or 30 gold. I don't know what decides how much it is. For me it was 10, maybe it's 30 for him. From here, this is one of my favorite wards, is just to place it right in that bush because you can just slap the blast cone right afterwards and get super good value. Seeing whenever the jungler pats that way. Ideally, I would have liked to actually have thrown it over that little wall, like kind of in between the blue buff and the golem. Or sorry, blue buff and the gromp, because that gives a lot more vision. But for now, this will have to do. Here, the wave is coming in, so we're gonna try and freeze, thin the wave a little bit without overdoing it. Otherwise, it'll slow push out towards them, and don't let it crash. Hopefully, otherwise they will get a bounce. But so far so good. I got the shield on Lucian and on myself, so we can easily hold the wave here. The perfect freeze is 4 minions. This isn't exactly 4 minions because some of them have not full HP, but it's close enough, and with the enemy team probably not realizing it's not a perfect freeze, they will probably hit the minions anyway. And they're fucking themselves in the ass right now. So we are doing just fine. That minion walking up right there may have just fucked us. Yeah. The freeze breaks completely here, and on this next wave it'll start slowly slow pushing back towards them. But that's okay. It's unfortunate because once I miss my hook, I lose a lot of pressure. It's not really an ideal thing to do, to just go fishing for hooks, because much like a Morgana, much like a Lux, once you do hook, you're kind of just boned. Or once you hook and miss, you're kind of just boned. Or once you root and miss, you're just boned. But it's okay. I have enough confidence in myself to land a hook eventually that it works out just fine. Drop an ignite, and because they don't have heal, they die for sure. And Lucian actually followed up with me this time with the flash, and therefore he gets the kill. Otherwise, I know for sure that I would have gotten the kill, but it's good that he got himself on the board. From here, I do have stopwatch, so I can look to try and dive. There we go. But I don't know that we get her. No, he's just short. She was smart enough to pop her refillable really early there. This part's a bit unfortunate. I would walk up and just kind of tank for the Lucian, but with his I think it's called Relentless Pursuit, he should be fine. And I kind of don't want to die there if I can avoid it, because I'm the one that's 2-0. It's kind of a shitty mentality as a support, but if I don't need to die, it doesn't really make sense to. This bit is a little bit troll from the Diana, because she should know that the Lucian and I are quite low. So her taking the fight here is a bit... Oh, did she make it? Okay, she does make it. Fortunately, she has, I think, a few kills under her belt already, so that play... It's a bit of a coin flip play, but it works out. Um, I personally don't think typing to enemies is like, or to your allies is all that good, but in some situations I try to make conversation and be helpful and play like a team when I can. Oftentimes I found that like talking to them, they listen most of the time, but many times like you'll try and say something helpful and they'll misinterpret it as flame, but that's okay. Uh, as far as my build, I'm rushing a Mikhails because for me at least, typically against Ashes, Luxes, Morganas, sometimes Leonas, I like to just outright buy a Mikhails. Even before getting my Mythic, I have found that if there is no person on the enemy team, like, I don't know, maybe like a Karthus, or someone, hang on, let me get to this, okay, I managed to get the hook, even though I trolled the flay, so all is well. I found that if, there's no person with heavy burst or heavy all-in, or maybe like an assassin on the enemy team, there's no real reason to rush your locket, really, because there's not really much value in the actual item. Oftentimes you can get away with purchases like this Mikhails, or even with the new item Anathema's Chains, you can sort of put the Anathemas on a person rather than buying a locket if the enemy team doesn't seem all too scary. So here we came back, used the lethal combo on the Maokai, and remember it is the QR into E, not QER. With a Q, R plus E, you can make sure that they get stuck in the box damage. I managed to drop the lantern, and because of the lantern, managed to get out. So don't sleep on the effectiveness of the lantern. Oftentimes when you're going for dives, just throw it behind you. Try not to throw it in front of you when you're running away, because you might accidentally body block yourself. I'm not totally sure if the body block of the lantern works on allies or yourself, but just in case, throw it behind you if you can. So from here I'm getting a little bit closer to the Mikhails. I don't actually know if I get full value from the Mikhails this game, and was able to oh, this part was annoying because I hit 500 gold and the quest procced right after I walked out. I don't actually know if I get full value from the Mikhails this game, because I don't know that I was able to cleanse anybody, but I like to view Mikhails the same way that I like to view Banshees or Zonia, Banshees, Zonias, or Guardian Angel, because they're more so for insurance than anything. Oftentimes if you have a Banshees, it's not so to prevent damage, or it's not necessarily that because you have Banshees everything's gonna work out, but it's kind of insurance that like the enemy team may think twice about going in on you, and it's kind of a repellent. It dissuades enemies from wanting to go in. Same way with Zonia, same way with GA. Oftentimes, if I'm playing an assassin and I see an ADC with GA, I'm just like, oh well, fuck. I guess I'm just not gonna go in. Obviously, I'm not gonna, not go in on the assassin, but it makes me double think and be like, do I want to use all my rotations for the GA, or do I want to let my team take care of it? So many times you have to look at it as a repellent, not as an actual it's gonna work out for sure type situation. Here Yasuo gets caught here, so I got a pretty nifty lantern. Thankfully he knows how to right click, so that's pretty nice. Whoa, okay, this is a smurf. That was a really nice hug on that wall. From here, I believe I look, I pan up top and I see that the Viego was low. I also pinged danger on the Yasuo so that he knows not to engage. Hopefully he doesn't engage. And then I look to see what I can do up top, because I believe the Viego was down to one shot. I could be wrong. Yeah, he was one shot here. So I want to see if I can get any value by just taking him out. Swing it and a miss. Unfortunate, but maybe he'll show himself. Here, I believe that, yeah, once the Rengar ults, we got a pretty good Rise ulti back. I kind of fucked up the hook there on the Viego, but I think the play there wasn't all too bad, because I don't know. I feel like it was not too risky. But I'm sure that if I had walked up a little bit closer, maybe it could have worked out. I'm just unsure because I think I would have been in turret range. All in all, nothing really lost. I don't think Rise was going to use his portal effectively anyway. I don't think we're really in the team fighting stage, so it's fine. I see that Rengar is top. He's clearing his red. He just cleared his red. I'm looking at Yasuo. I'm looking at Rise. Always, 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 whenever you're running back to lane, look at the state of the map. Don't just be stargazing, because this is the time that most of your info really is analyzed, I suppose. I think the higher elo players, they call this the lull state. The lull states are when you're not fighting, and the lull states are when you want to be trying to take in as much information as you can, because this is the time to do so. You can't really be doing that in real time as much. So we see that 3 people are top, means Lucian and I can go aggro here. I think once the Ashe shows, we can then decide if we want to go and engage on her or not. I believe the play was to. No, I think once she got under the cover of her turret, it becomes a little dimmed. But we can shove the wave out and threaten the dive. If she ends up stepping out of line. But it's okay. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but that's alright. I walked up to tank the arrow. It was a bit of an unfortunate play. I shouldn't have been out that far. I think once the hook missed, I should have just immediately turned around, because I should have realized that Rengar could have been in the area. So that's my fuck up there. All in all, it's okay. Yasuo gets free damage up top. Drake isn't up. I didn't use any sums. One important little tidbit: when you think you're gonna die, don't flash. Just save your dignity and just die, because just doing the flash of hope and then dying is a lot worse than simply holding your flash and then dying. Because I don't know, I found that a lot of people just use really low value flashes and then just die anyway, and then it's like a double negative, and it's just even worse than if you just died in the first place. But I think Yasuo is doing super well right now with the pressure he has top. He may die because of how deep he is, but I don't know that it matters. We can just easy Drake. For some reason, the jungler is jacking off in the mid lane instead of coming to the Drake, so that part kind of sucks, but it's okay. Free Drake, I think that puts us at number 2, if I remember correctly. Once I hit tab the next time around, we'll be able to see for sure. But all in all, we are getting closer and closer towards our soul. Here we can start moving a little bit closer towards our or towards their mid lane turret. I always love doing that hook where you kind of walk by the outside of this crow pit here and then throw it to the left, because oftentimes there might be a player in the nook or in the bush. Typically, if there's someone like oftentimes like fiddle players will just be sitting in that either the nook or the bush. So obviously there's no fiddle in this actual game. It's just kind of like the thought process that goes behind it. There's typically players that sit behind there and wait for you to walk in so that they can skill shot you. So players like Morgana or Lux or anyone really that can just CC you or hook you, they like to hide in that area. So things are looking fine here. We get a rift. Once the rift is popped, it's a good habit to walk up here and escort the rift in so that she may get one more dash off. Try to get as much value for the Shelly as possible. Now, it's actually a bad thing. Hang on, let me see if they actually take a lantern. Of course not. It's actually a bad thing to get early inhibitors sometimes, especially in solo queue, because it means that your team loses one whole wave of minions, whereas they're always going to be able to farm one free wave. And so, or sorry, one free lane, not wave, one free lane of minions, whereas you're always losing one free lane of minions, and therefore it can kind of act as like a experience denial for your team, but as long as you guys are being proactive and doing shit around the map, it's okay. Oftentimes, if you can kind of get the inhib turret, typically, like especially at 18 minutes is I think when we broke it, if you can get the inhibitor turret, and then just chill, it probably means that you guys are ahead if you're getting it this early, enough to the point where you don't have to get the inhib, you're likely going to get back there in a few minutes anyway. So if you can do something like threaten the Baron or threaten the third Drake, it's a lot more valuable than just outright getting the inhibitor like that. But of course in solo queue you can't really navigate and plan that out with the team. So just be wary, especially if you're doing it in team play. If the enemy teams have any form of scaling, try not to give them an inhibitor, except if it means getting a Baron or a third Drake or something like that. If you guys can starve them out or massively make your team get boosted far ahead. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, like if you stand behind that and no can throw a hook out, oftentimes there's just going to be a player standing there, and it's just a good habit to get into. Here I went for the hook. Swing and a miss, but I think his flash is more valuable than mine, so I will take that as a win. Okay, that was a really good E from Yasuo. Lucian got a kill. I'm gonna walk up and see if I can get anything on Ziggs. No luck. That's okay. At this point, I think this guy's staying a little bit too far, so I would like to peel back a little bit. I don't know. I don't actually know how strong this guy is. Well, clearly he's strong enough to kill her. I threw him a Mikhail's just for a little bit of healing, but I still don't know. I don't know that I can... Oh, maybe. He does get a hook there, but I don't know that I can peel the Rengar off of him too. Well, if he dashes in, it's pretty doomed. Which means I may die here yet again. Rise ported in for some reason. That was strange. From here, I think the next move is to get ready for that dragon. Yeah, because I did check when I hit tab, we are at 2 Drakes, and it is an ocean map, I think? Actually, I don't know. Is it an ocean map? I think it's an ocean map. Ocean map is really good. No, it's a mountain map. Okay. I actually don't really like playing ocean maps against Rengars because it gives him a lot more brushes to just shit on your team with, and it doesn't help that he's 7-3. So it's a lot better actually, in my opinion, that it is a mountain map. Maybe it would have had more value if you had more tanks. So I guess both ocean and mountain are equally as good here. Here I see Ziggs in the mid lane, but I don't think I go for it. No, I don't. Once I see the Maokai, I just decided against it. I believe the move here would be try to get them off of blue so that the Rengar doesn't benefit from the XP or the CDR, and the Rise gets blue buff, which is incredible on him. Our jungler randomly just dies, which is just solo queue for you, but it's okay. We get the mountain, and I think because we have pretty good damage on the Lucian and Yasuo, I don't believe they can Baron, but the Yasuo is like dangerously far ahead right now, so I don't actually know. Wanted to make sure the Rengar wasn't doing anything crazy here. I think Rise may have trolled it with that TP. That was really deep for no reason. Then that dude, of course he's gonna dash away from the lantern yet again. So this actually may be a Baron. I'm actually not remembering much of this game. But I do know that the Diana is up. So the move here would be to run towards her and try to lantern her in. That way she can... Yeah, I mean, they are in the Baron pit. If we can get her close enough with her ulti, she should be able to just wombo them. Yeah, okay, there we go. Gotta ignite on him. Let's see if I land that hook. I do. Okay, that's perfect. That's Baron off of everybody. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It still is like sloppy play. The move there is just for the Rise to not TP, and we just shred everybody, but it ended up working out that Diana is as strong as she is and was able to just bop them. So now we can walk up, help her get the inhibitor, and then probably look to take their camps in an ideal world. I don't know if that's what we end up doing because the team might... I don't know. I don't know what the team might do. Of course, you can use the hook to grapple your way out of danger using jungle camps. The wolf pit is one of my favorite ways to escape ganks. So don't forget that you have access to that. Here, Diana ended up staying for some reason, meaning I die too. But I suppose if Yasuo can get a kill or two, then it might be worth. Maybe not worth, but it makes it not as shitty. Obviously, it's going to be worth for them because actually it was a 2 for 3 in their favor, so it's worth for them regardless. But in the case that it was even a 2 for 2, it's still worth for them because they're the team that's behind. Now I'm just looking around the map, looking at Lucian, looking at Rise, making sure what they're doing around the map. It's always good to hit tab, look at the enemy's levels, hit tab, look at your team's levels across the board, and if your team's levels are higher across the board, then typically it means that it's okay to fight. Same thing with the items. If your team has like a 1 item power spike advantage, then typically it's a good reason to fight. From here, Rise drops a portal, so we can move up. I don't believe it leads to anything, but it's okay. I think the goal here is to just walk the minions in and see what we can do towards ending. It's a bit of a coin flip play, but because of how far ahead we are, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, so far so good. I Mikhail's myself for a little bit of a healing. And not the cleanest game in the world, but I think that would be the end. Ziggs is a little too far behind to be able to do anything. Ashe doesn't have the damage either. And yeah, it's a pretty clean game, I think. I think the goals this game were met pretty well. Get Lucian ahead, then go mid, get him ahead, and snowball off of Drakes and such. So far so good. The Diana played super well, so kudos to her. And yeah, I will see you guys for game 2. Alright, what's up y'all? This is game 2, and this took place 3 days ago, so it was one game after the previous game. The last game I will try and actually record over while I'm actually playing. I know this is happening retroactively, but I'm doing my best to speak as if I'm playing, you know, live. But the next game I will do my best to make sure that it is actually a live game. I just know that I'm not used to talking so much while I'm streaming. So even doing this feels a bit off for me. Now I decided to play the Deep Terror Thresh skin, not because I enjoy the skin by any means, but I have been told, I don't know if this is actually true because typically these kind of things are patched, but I've been told that Deep Terror Thresh has a slightly bigger hitbox on his Q. I don't know if this is still the case, but we're going to try it out and see what's up. So in the case that you know, it does have a bigger hitbox, I'd be surprised, but you never know. So far, I don't really know why so many Akshan bans. I think maybe people are banning it so that their teammates don't get a hold of it, because I don't actually think that he's that strong of a character. But it is what it is. I think people are just afraid because it's a new champion. Afraid to play against it, and afraid for their teammates to get a hold of it. So far, we have a Jhin. I actually quite enjoy having a Jhin too, because Jhin can set up kills for you. Now, these champions aren't as aggressive. I guess Jhin is, but I typically really like to play it with Ashes and Zayas, Varuses, champions of that sort, because they can set up the CC for you. It doesn't always have to be you doing everything, which is quite helpful because their CCs are typically easier to land than yours. So far, I like your team. Again, I wish we had a bit more tankiness, but this time we should have a little bit more frontline than we had last time, just because Iron provides so many shields, and I think Lee Sin will be doing the more bruiser tank Lee Sin rather than assassin one-shot Lee Sin, so better. Their team has both a Varus and an Elise, so I will be looking to immediately purchase the Mikhail's item. At least that would be my mindset. I'm not sure what I actually ended up doing this game, but typically into hard CC of that sort, Mikhail's is one of my primary purchases. Now, Helena has got Airy and Resolve, so her poke's gonna be a little annoying. I don't know if I went bone plating or holy shit, I'm blanking so hard. Second Wind this game, but I think they're both equally as good. Second Wind might be a little bit better because of the Nami poke, but I think bone plating is better for Elise and Varus, so I think they're both good. I don't know how the mid lane matchup goes. I've actually not seen an Ergo mid since maybe like the beginning of his rework. So yeah, I'm not sure how that goes. Silas into Lee Sin, that's kind of a pretty volatile matchup. I think it's Lee Sin favored, because this is the patch that Silas got reduced healing on. But then again, Lee Sin also got quite a few nerfs, so I guess I'm not really sure how that one goes either. Now, Ivern versus Elise, I think Ivern has a bit of a faster clear, because he can just walk around and touch the camps for kills, but I'm not actually sure, since Elise also has pretty decent clear. As far as bot lane goes, I know that they have better sustain, but we have better all-in typically, as long as I can land my hook. What else is notable? Nothing too notable. Rise went red tree secondary, so his dueling potential is going to be pretty okay. But Urgot does have the Resolve, which might consist of bone plating. And it's a little bit difficult too, because I know that in this elo people are too sort of stuck on their ways when it comes to item builds, that I don't think Rise is ever going to actually build a QSS. Because for those that don't know, Urgot's ulti can be dropped with a QSS. So I don't actually think that the Rise is going to build it. But one can pray, one can hope. I can't actually Mikhail's cleanse that. So one can only hope that, you know, my players have brains. Again, slow cast the E, because I typically like to sacrifice a little bit of speed for a little bit more accuracy when it comes to the E, because I think the E is a pretty important skill. I don't like to invade from this angle because I find that it doesn't really work very often, but I'm kind of just following the team's call. Who knows, it may actually just pay off. Again, I think it's, I don't know, I've always found that the going in through the bottom, the try brush is a bit more consistent when it comes to securing ganks and invades, but it is what it is. Nami showed there, so it's likely that they haven't reverse invaded through the try, but it's good to go back and check anyway. Things look fine. Urgot just showed mid, but since the Urgot came from that side right there, they may be, yeah, they are there. This is actually kind of scary for the Lee. He may have to blow his flash. Oh no, they actually just let him go. I think the Silas started his Q instead of his E. I think if he started his E, the Lee is forced to start Or sorry, the Lee is forced to flash there. I'm surprised the Silas doesn't do that. But things are fine so far. The goal here is to push the wave ever so slightly. You want to hit 2, but you don't want to push the wave too fast, otherwise by the time the second wave hits, your minions will be essentially under their turret, and at which point they're going to be too safe for you to engage. So you want to get a slight lead. So if you look right here, we have like 1 or 2 minions excess in comparison to theirs. But they saw that we had a minion lead and they backed up immediately, so they were smart enough to know to do that. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult for me to walk up here, but I can kind of walk up and I can at least posture, even if it means, even if it doesn't mean landing a kill. I went for a hook there. I tried to throw it as close to the minion as possible without actually hitting the minion, but the cannon hitbox is a little too girthy, so. Get the cannon, we saw at least top, so we're fine on ganks. We don't actually have to we didn't have to actually ward right there, the Jin. I guess it's good that he did. Better safe than sorry, but it did just end up wasting a ward because she showed top. Typically Elise's go from red to blue Grom top ish. I don't know if that path is any different now, but typically they like to go bot to top. One thing to note, when Jin got bubbled there, I walked up immediately. Typically you want to try and dissuade the enemy ADC from going in on your carry once they get hooked. We got an alright trade here. I actually realized in hindsight that I could have ignited immediately. I thought the fight was going to go a lot worse for us, but it ended up actually being pretty okay. I think if I ignite there, he actually dies because his heal is on cooldown. But I got a pretty nutty hook right around the minion there, and so it ended up being fine anyway. Varus. Wow, that curved. Yeah, you can kind of throw the minions or throw your hook kind of right above or right below a minion, and get some pretty what's the word? Unsuspecting hooks, I suppose. People don't really see it coming. They think they're safe behind the minions, and so it looks like oh, hopefully Rise can oh shit, nice dodge from Rise. Immediately as soon as I see Rise getting low, I'm gonna walk over to him. I feel like something's gonna, yeah, at least he's getting bloodthirsty. Lantern shield, kill. That's perfect. That's actually massive. Hopefully Rise stays here so he doesn't miss this fat ass wave. I hope he cancels. He does cancel. Okay, good. Now I can go back towards bottom. The Jin is actually in no trouble of losing anything. I'm gonna walk up a little bit here. It's gonna be a little bit greedy, but I don't think Urgot can kill me. Get a bit of a deep ward to see where the Elise pass. I should have gone a little bit further, but I wanted to get back to my Jin before he somehow found a way to die. So this is fine. Things are fine. The first game I played against a Maokai, which is a bit of poke, I suppose. This one is an enchanter. I will try to do a game against maybe someone that's a bit tankier, or maybe like a pike or something. Though I don't know how good of a enchanter Maokai is. Maybe I should do like one more game against either like a Brand or a Xerath or Vel'Koz or something. I don't know. I don't want the video to be too long, but I do want it to be comprehensive enough. So right here, this is something I like to do, is walk in front of the minions and zone them out. And Varus misses the cannon that way because I'm in front of the wave and he can't walk up to get it. Obviously he could have queued from far away, but he actually slows himself when he's charging his Q, so I could have just walked up and flayed or hooked. Things are looking pretty good. It's a good habit to walk in front of the wave when you are ahead. I have a feeling that Elise is going to be... Yep, she is right there. I think that I will be okay due to my tankiness, but had a feeling that Elise was gonna be down there, but I shouldn't have. And I fucking hooked a spider. I shouldn't have just face checked like that. I should have waited for Ivern to come down. But so far so good. I don't know that they have anything that they're able to do. This is a really good route from Ivern. Unfortunate that he died. I think he should have just rooted and then walked away instead of taking the route. Here I see a TP coming in. I think that's Urgot. This is Urgot. It might be just out of range. Yeah. And then the spider spawn. This is just a really unfortunate series of events. I don't know that that was worth it. I do get executed here though, I think, yeah. I don't know. That whole bit was kind of unnecessary. I feel like that dive should have been called. I should have pinged and just called the rise off because I knew that it was kind of a silly play. But I'm gonna pretend that it was my fault and just say it might be. Actually, maybe it was partially my fault. I'm sure I could have played it better. I think if I walked up more immediately to the rise, then maybe I could have, or to the Elise, then maybe I could have hooked her, but that's okay. Here I want to check that bush below me for vision. Nothing there, I don't think. Nami and Varus went mid for some reason. I think they went to pick up the wave when the Urgot wasn't there. So, because I know that they're there, it means that I can go and help Ivern with the Drake, because odds are Jhin probably doesn't just die to something here. I suppose there could be a crab in the bush, and he could come flying out, but I don't really think that that's gonna be the case. Odds are the Varus and the Nami just rotate back and look to pick up the wave the Jhin just pushed. So far so good. We want to shove this in and then look to reset, because we don't actually know where Elise is, I don't think. I don't think we've seen her in a little bit. She's top now. Okay. Now we know that it's safe to engage. If I want to engage, I do have stopwatch to stop, and I land the hook. R, E. And I got my stopwatch off. Hopefully he lands his... Okay, perfect. Great, great, great. That was absolutely well done. Now I can go for a hook on the Varus. And I may die here, but you know, I'll take that. Kill on me for Jhin getting unstoppable. I'm not sure if kills as they go up and up result in more gold, like dominating, unstoppable, godlike. I don't know if the kills go up. I know your bounty goes up, but I don't know if like kill values go up. But I mean, he's 5-0 now, and there's one in my death, so I'll take it. Here I decided to go top because Elise is still just jacking off top. I don't know why. I also don't know why Rise decided to just dive the Urgot like that. But I just saw Elise top, so odds are she's at the Rift Herald. So I'm gonna walk up and ward, see what's up. She is on it. I wonder if we can stop it or if that's troll. It's only an Ivern and myself. I think it's fine though. I think it's safe. Okay. I don't know why the rift took so long to reset, but that is fine. I can go back mid, but I noticed that Rise is super far away from lane, and I wanted him to get the CS, so enter him in, run back bot. It's a good habit to get into, to just get people in the lane so that they don't miss XP or gold. And then Rise takes a really poor trade, so it seems he's gonna have to say what's up to the shopkeep once more. So I guess what I did wasn't entirely worth, but whatever. Now this one was a tilting play because I was waiting in the bush to bait the 2v2, but then Elise just popped out of nowhere, and then Varus just threw out his ult, and so she just dies, or he just dies. I should have accounted for that. I should have pinged him off. Or I should have tried to get a ward in the tribe before trying to make a cheeky play like that. If I had Mikhail's, maybe that play doesn't work, but it's unfortunate that I gambled and he died. So, it's kind of a... I don't think it's entirely my fault, but it's a pretty coin flip play that I didn't have to make. I pretty much just baited the dude into dying. But it's okay. All we can do is look towards the next play. From here, I picked up the minions so I don't lose that XP, and then we look towards the next spot. Rush the Mikhails for CC prevention. And then I believe the move here is to move towards a rift because there's no Drake up. I'm gonna have to pray that Jhin just doesn't just die here. Okay, Rift's already gone actually, but hopefully I can save the Ivern here. It looks like he's in a bit of a pickle, as it were. Nice one. Oh, excuse me. Now, get deep wards in. This is one of my favorite wards, is like right on the outskirts of the crows, so you can see what they are planning. I see Varus down here. I think I maybe walk up and see what I can do. I don't know if it leads to anything. Oh, I just get ulted and then do I just die? I don't remember how this play goes. I flash. Okay, for sure I could have Mikhail's myself there and given myself a bit of a heal, and hopefully I've gotten out. I didn't expect to get turned on like that, so that was just super well done by the Varus. So that could have been avoided. This isn't a perfect game by any means, so don't think that I'm showing you any perfect games. I think the last game was a bit closer to perfect. This one I'm definitely making a lot more mistakes, but that might be more important. Maybe that might be more important than just showing you guys like all stomps. Maybe the next game I show it's me struggling and we find a way back or something. So to kind of show the different levels of difficulty when it comes to these games. At least jumped up in the air. I don't know if she comes back. No, she retreats. So it's good that they made her retreat because that just gives us should be our second Drake. Yeah. I wonder what map it's gonna be. Mountain or fire? I'm guessing fire. It was mountain. Sick nasty. Which is good. Of course, these mountain drakes typically have more value the tankier you are, and we're not too terribly tanky, but a little extra armor and MR do not hurt. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of a flanker, a spanker on here. I don't know if it works out. Oh, maybe it does. I got the Elise here, though I don't know that we have the follow up. Rise gets tagged by the Ergo ulti, so it's a little dangerous. Okay, he manages to get a good flash. I threw the hook wide. Jhin is firing his shots though, so we can pray that they don't block. I feel like if he I feel like if he threw the ulti a little bit slightly north, it might have clipped the Nami, but that's okay. All in all, few moves expended on either side. I think it was fine. I think it'll still end up being beneficial for us. I think they had a few more blinking reds than we did. Okay, I had a really bad hook there, so I just killed myself. Okay, no, maybe this game was a lot worse than I remember it to be. I'm currently 1-4, so maybe this ends up being the bad game. We will see. Lee Sin's doing work though, so that is good. So far, so good. Maybe I get carried this game. I don't really know what Jin's thought process was there. I don't know if there was a thought process at all, really, but I don't believe it was the move. But again, this is solo queue, so don't expect to have stellar teammates all the time. That's okay. I might be able to get him out with the... Okay, yeah. I managed to hook him off, which probably kills me. But that's okay. I'll take it. I realize that I'm the one feeding this game, so if I can... Yeah, look at that. He called me a hero. If I can make the hero play for my teammates, then I will every time, because I'm a stellar guy, I guess. Okay, let's see. What's the move from here? I'm not too terribly happy with my performance, but I think it's not yet doomed because I managed to get my Mikhails, and I have the tenacity boots, so I think I'm in an okay place. Of course, I would like to be not 1 in 5, but you know, what can you do? I'm here already, so I just gotta try and look for picks. It really would be awkward if this was the wrong game that I ended up picking out and we did lose this game. So that would make me a little sad. But I do believe this ended up being a good game to show. Because I hope that this isn't a game where I just, you know, feed and then that's it. So I suppose we will see. Lee's kind of giving back some shutdowns, which is a little scary. But I don't really know what happened. Oh yeah, so... That's another little thing I like to do whenever you're walking from one area of the jungle to lane. If you're mid-rotation, I like to ward on the way to the lane. That way you can see when they're collapsing and try to fish for a pick. So that ended up being quite nice. From here, we end up taking them back. I believe the move is to set up for Drake. HP, because HP has more value than armor or MR until level, I believe, 9. So I like to typically stock up on HP. I think it's a very favorable stat, especially for Thresh, who gets armor from souls. So if you can stock up on HP and be useful in souls, then typically you'll be tanky enough. Clearly not this game. I'm a little too far behind. I may have to flash here. Oh no, looking okay. Salas dashes out. Urgot gets in a little too close, so that's looking pretty good. Here, I think the move is to just go fishing. Elise has to come down eventually. She actually managed to jump to, I think, Daisy there. That was actually quite smart of her. I Mikhails myself, cleanse the root, Lantern the rise. Oh, and he actually takes it. What a guy. Seems like we're kind of coin flipping the Drake, but I don't know if Elise is in position, so that works out. I warded the side to make sure Elise doesn't come in. She seems to be a little too deep though. No, maybe not. Maybe I don't, no way we're taking that. That's Trollzor's. Okay. I think we just leave him to the wolves because that shit was deep. Maybe not. Oh, wait, hold up. They didn't actually collapse on anybody. This actually might be winnable. Oh my days, never mind. Managed to lantern him out of the hook. What now? Okay, seems like they're just taking it back. Here I would have liked to have seen the Rise and Ivern just shoved down mid, but they get the blue. They both get the blue because of Ivern. So far so good. We got the Drake. I believe that is it's 20 minutes, so third Drake. Not bad. 3 Drakes at 20. We're in good position, and it's gonna make me and Lucian especially beefy as he went the Cord Drinker tank build. So far so good. Rise gets a little too close, but it's okay. So that's kind of really good dash there. I tried to predict it as soon as he came out from the Zonius, but I wasn't on point. This is such a fucking tilting experience. I tried to get the cannon to continue my stacks, but of course the Jin crits it, so I missed it. Again, my crow ward, we'll call it the crow ward, because I think it gives a lot of vision. I'm sure it'll be of value. Yeah, there it is. So it's just a wonderful ward. Oh shit, I'm having a stroke. A wonderful ward all around, and yeah. It's a good habit to get into whenever you're walking in and out of bushes that you don't know. Just kind of path up and down. Don't just walk straight. I didn't know for certain, so I just kind of was dancing a little bit here and there, and there just happened to be a spider. So if I kept walking straight, I'd just die there. I don't know what's on his plans here. Oh, he actually got a nice E, but the Jin may have had Gale Force there. Holy shit, dude. These birds are blocking me so hard here. I have to take the scenic route back to the fight because I was forced to. It's looking okay though. I believe Lee should be able to get this portal might be okay, yeah. I dodged the Q, got out, and yeah, honestly, but can we even Baron here? We have a Jin. Oh, we do have a Rise. Rise is good at taking Barons, but Jin is probably the worst ADC. So honestly, I don't think that I can offer much other than my emotional assistance. So, and Rise just dies. But maybe he keeps Silence off the Barons, so maybe that's actually worth. But here I am, giving them my absolute adoration from afar. But so far so good. I get hooked. Oh, and then I flashed his move. And yeah, he's looking real sad right about now. Oh shit, there's a Kerboomberman. Okay, now we're good. Oh! We dodged this, baby. Holy. I may have had to, yeah, I made kills there just in case. Not to cleanse any CC, but to give me a bit of healing. Kinda sucks, but that's okay. So I went from 1 in like 7 to 2 and 5. Oh no, not 1 and 7. That doesn't make sense. 1 and 157 to 2510. There we go. Here I noticed that Rise is in a bit of a tough spot. Always be looking at your minimap because like your teammates are always gonna get caught. I think the Lantern is one of the most OP items or OP skills in the game because it just has too much value. If your teammates know how to use their right click and have a functioning mouse, it's a very good ability. So here I wanted to do Drake. They're chasing, but it's okay. My Ivern is here. My Ivwen. So as long as we got him, we're good to go. Let's see. Push. I go tit. Did I just see a flash there? Yeah, my guy Ivern just tried to flash into the portal and I believe he missed. Yeah. Okay. No, it was a valiant attempt. I don't know if pushing here is the move there though. We just got Mountain. I feel like we could be backing for resources, but it is solo queue, so kind of have to go with the team. I am but a lowly support. I mean, obviously we want to make use of the Baron, so I guess it is about to run out. Oh, that guy missed, she missed. Everybody missed their moves. Rise is not taking the Lantern. Rise is not taking the Lantern. Rise flashed away from the Lantern. Oh, there's the Lantern. Okay. Here you want to just do your best to try and peel, but like, I feel like there's so many different fights happening right now, and Jin somehow got separated from me. I'm sure I could have played that better and tried to have sat on his face a little bit better, but it's okay. From here, I believe there should be inhib 1 and maybe inhib 2. That looks like an open inhib. Yeah, it is. Do we get it though? Should be fun. Now, the move would be to take their jungle on the way out, so I don't even have to Q here, because Ivern does it for me. For those that don't know, you can right-click Ivern's Q and dash to your auto attack range, so oftentimes it'll just take you over a wall. They got that. I don't have to leash this because Ivern... Oh, he just took it. That's kind of toxic. Oh, shit. I think I'm fine. I don't think they can actually do anything. It's a bit of a bad habit right there to kind of be shopping like in that spot, but... I mean, Varus is bot. Like, I really don't think they can do anything, but it's still a bad habit, so try not to do it. This should be my locket though. It's 750 for that item, and then what, 1400 for the total item, or 950 for the total item? One of the two. From here, I went the Kindle gem. I can decide whether I want to do Zeke's or if I want to do Redemption. I can kind of decide that later. So. Good habit to just building like a component that builds into different items, and then from there you can kind of decide where you want to go with path, which path you want to take based on the game state. I can't speak. Maybe it's because it's 3 AM. From here, I am oh, you TP'd. I don't know. Like I feel like peeling for this Jhin is incredibly difficult with the way he's playing. I don't want to make excuses because, but like, what do I do? Maybe that was my fault. Maybe I could have walked in front of the skill shot. I didn't see it actually fly out, so I can't say it was entirely my bad. Here I am trying to dodge and wow, getting hit by literally every single one. But Ivern's shield is fucking massive, so it doesn't matter. From here, the move would likely be get ready for Baron, because the next objective should be coming up within like 45-ish seconds. I don't know when I hit tab next, but it should be coming up soon enough to where we should be looking towards it. It's a good It's a good habit, if you can, to try and break the bottom inhibitor, if you can, while going for Baron, because it is the furthest lane away from Baron. So if you can take their bottom inhib, typically they'll be in the furthest lane away, clearing those minions. So you'll have pretty much free agency to do the Baron, because they're so far away. At least one person is so far away. This spider is kind of trolling by being at the Baron. So she just dies for some reason. She might be tilted. And from there, we get to decide what we want to do next. The play might be Baron back, run up. I somehow get the Baron. Maybe the team wanted to immediately do top way. I don't know that I fuck with this call since Elder Drake is coming up so soon. I feel like had they any brain on the enemy team, they just go and get ready at Elder. Like I just saw the Urgot go missing. Oh no, he's there again. Even so, they're all on the bot side of the map. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is the call following this rise. It's not the smartest cookie, that's for sure. I feel like we gotta start doing something. Oh, maybe... No, that isn't Elise right there. Maybe this play does work out because Elise went here for some reason. Huh. That's so strange. I feel like if they were a bit more coordinated, they can just rush the Elder and maybe make us make the wrong move by splitting us in different directions, but it's okay. Oh, I went for a hook, got close, but No cigar. Here we can actually just turn on the... Yeah, that ended up being so cleanly coordinated. You typically don't see that in solo queue, but everyone knew to just immediately turn on the Urgot there, which is super nice. And this Varus backing is actually a win-win either which way. Like, it doesn't matter that he doesn't die because we get the Baron or the Elder either way. I dodged the stun, and now I can just kind of fuck around, dancing and preventing the Elise from being able to get into the pit. And I can go for a flash play here. Yeah, ooh, I got him. Of course, you can track the enemy, follow him. I got the kills on the Lee. Hook the Silas off of him. He actually might still live. Oh no, the Varus crit him. It was close though. That Mikhail's almost saved his life. Jin is fucking floating. Why is he so fast? Cloud Drake? That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt from Urgot. He actually tried to slow the Jin with his ulti. That was good. That was a good heads up. But at which point this game is over. Baron, Elder, there's no fighting that. Got the flay on him. Perfect. Let's see if I can land this hook. Oh, okay. So that was game 2. I think the game 2 may have been a better game to look at because I was a bit behind in the early game, so not too bad. I'm going to try and get one more game for you guys. Hopefully this next game consists of playing up against either a tank or someone like a Pike or Brand, and also hopefully if I'm getting severely smacked around early game, because maybe we can look at what I did to get back in the game. So I'll see you guys for game 3. Alright, what's up lads? This is gonna be game 3 out of 3, maybe game 3 out of 4. I initially wanted to just keep playing Thresh games until I had a good comeback story of the year, but a lot of my games recently have just been 15-minuters because people give up way too easily. So instead, I decided to just look through my files and find an old video. I think this game was 2 years ago because my name is still Wig Sternum and not PMA King. So it's an older video, but not so old that it's, you know, it's not so old that it's not, you know, incomparable to Season 11. Only difference being items. Now, I personally think Thresh and Blitz are kind of a skill matchup because Thresh can lantern people out of Blitz's hook, but Blitz can knock them as they're taking the lantern. I think it really does come down to the better player, or just who is better playing in that game. I don't really see it as like a concrete one side wins type situation. I could be wrong. I think both sides have the potential to win though. I do like having Kaisas. Kaisa typically puts out a lot of damage over time. In lane she's kind of but at least later on she's quite good. Malzahar too I quite like. It seems like we have really good late game insurance should this game go late game. So hopefully, does she keep the TP there? I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't like it when ADCs don't take heal because it fucks me in the ass. Like, it's great for them because even if they die, they just TP back, but for me, it's quite doomed. We do have a Renekton though. I did want some early game, and Renekton gives that to us, so that is good. I don't actually remember how this game went. I just know that it was a good game, so I may do this one plus one more. Yeah, I think top lane it's gonna be Renekton favored until maybe 6, and then Trend starts winning afterwards. I'm not really sure how that goes, but I guess if Tryndamere ults, the Renekton can just stun him and then run away. Mid, I think that's Mal's favorite in terms of push, but Zoe favored in terms of kill threat and usefulness early game. Mal's is the better champion later on though. It's taking a while to queue us in. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's a diamond. It's a diamond game. Okay, this should be a good one to look at. That's strange. The Kane went electrocute. I'm not sure if that's what they used to do back then, or I'm assuming then that he's going blue Kane for sure. Top, both of them went ignite. Pretty heavy kill threat. Malzahar taking cleanse is pretty good for him though. He loses to sleep. She also went Comet, which is a little strange. I think Airy and Electrocute are both superior, but that's kind of weird. So, okay, this is back when the items were still I don't even remember. It was a medallion is the name. I guess this is back when medallion was still the superior item. So, I went medallion here. Into potions. It's kind of bad that I'm AFK right here. I must have had to go do something. No. Please tell me I start moving. I must be fixing some sort of setting. I should flash. Why am I not flashing? Watching past games of me makes me want to cry. Okay, well, there's one death. Okay, this is good. I must have went and did something. I don't have it unmuted, so... Did I give it to Trend? Oh, I just fucked the top laner in the ass. This is such a pet peeve of mine because I hate it when other people do this to me and I just did it to some random dude on my team. Maybe I was having like mouse issues or some shit. I feel like I typically don't AFK in a precarious spot like that. I usually just AFK in like lane when I have to go do something, but I don't know, maybe something came up. I'm assuming they're in our jungle. I don't know if going back here is the smartest. Oh, and there I go. Oh no, I flashed. Yeah, I don't know that was worth for me. Yeah, watching past gameplay of me really does make me want to cry. So, I'm sure this is going to be a fun one for everyone involved. They have a lot of prio on me now since I don't have my flash. I don't know that. Actually, no. I do think this is the right move. I think autoing Lucian even at the expense of my own HP is worth. His HP bar is more valuable than my HP bar. Him going behind is better than me. Now right here, it seems like I'm trying to duck in and out of the minion wave so that I can try and bait out a hook. That's what I would be doing even today. So at least 2 years ago, I'm at least doing that correctly. Top unfortunately gave over another kill. Or no, that's a jungler. So that's so tilting. Renekton's laner is 2-0, and he didn't give up either of those kills. Definitely my bet on the first one. Moving side to side like that stopped his back, which is really good. I can just do it again. I can walk up to that caster minion if I wanted to and stop his back in. I'm not sure why I didn't. I'm pretty sure Blitzcrank's hook is 19 seconds, I believe, off memory, level 1. So I'm not really sure why he didn't, or why I didn't move up. Maybe once I died the one time, I didn't want to risk it. Remember to be constantly looking around the map, seeing what's up, because I don't know, maybe in this case it might not matter, but let's pretend that Tryndamere goes teleport, and then you see him. I guess that's not really a practical example. Let's just say that their top laner is a Malphite and not a Tryndamere, and he has TP, and you see him ult your top laner, and then you see him, or like you see him ult your top laner and kill him, but then you see him TP bot lane afterwards, before his ult timer comes back. You know that you can probably take the fight because you know that he doesn't have his ult, whereas he's banking on you not knowing. So it's a good habit to get in, or it's good to get in the habit of F-keying, because that is how you get a lot of information, and the faster you do it, the better it will be for you. From here, it looks like I'm trying to do the thing where I'm dodging in and out of the waves, but I'm doing it a little bit too precariously. Yeah, like I knew this was gonna happen. I think I die here. I had the right plan, I just wrong execution, because I'm looking at what I would be doing even now, so like my playstyle hasn't changed, it's more so like the execution. I've gotten better at doing that. I can tell from watching this that I was like, wait, I moved up a little too far. So the idea is right, execution is wrong. The goal is to move in and out of the minions to force the Blitzcrank to hook, but I walked just a hair too far out. But that's okay. That is okay. Shit happens. Always lantern your laner back into... Oh my god, I must have walked out of range. Oh my god, this is quite the game, eh? I'm glad that this is the game that I'm showing you guys. Holy fuck, I'm getting tilted watching myself. These are the kind of supports that make me fucking cry when I get them. And this time it's me. So, this kind of sucks watching this back, but it's all in good fun. Walking up to... Nope, didn't ward actually. I don't know that there is much that I could be doing. It's a good thing. I just hit tab and I saw that the Malzahar went Merc Treads Rush. It's actually super good, super smart. I guess this is a bit better because it's a Diamond Elo game. Typically your laners, like typically just players don't know how to build in general. But this game is looking kind of doomed, team. So maybe this is a good game to look at. So everything I've done in this game, just don't do. And you should be just cruising. Okay. Oh, nice. I don't know that that leads to anything. Okay. Maybe I should have sacrificed my HP or my life for a hook, because the hook would have left him CC'd for another second and a half, and then that would have maybe led into a kill. Okay, this Kaisa is playing way too far up for no reason. I had to die for her sins, which is fine. I'm already 0-2, so that's okay. In the case that you ever go behind like this and... Oh, and I also... Oh, it seems like I'm running Futures Market. Okay, interesting. I think I did value that pretty heavily back in the day. It's a good gank mid. She gets flashed though. She might just live. Oh, she went back in instead of out. She just killed herself. Greedy. Wait, what champ? Oh no, wait, this game is like horrible. Did we just get slam papeted? I sure fucking hope not. This would be really awkward if I started my recordings and was recording this game thinking this was a comeback game, and it just ended up being a game where we got railed. So I suppose you guys could be looking at this game and just, you know, doing the opposite of what I'm doing and, you know, benefit that way too. Since the Blitz is mid, if I can walk up and get a kill on the Lucian that's super worth for us. If I'm the Renekton at this point, I'm probably out of the game. That's probably an alt F4. My laner's on a rampage, and it wasn't even my fault. Nah, it's just a diamond game. Shit's easy, we'll come back. I believe it in my bones. Lantern for an easy assist. Flay, into hook. Guaranteed CC. Mouse lives. Poggers. Oh yeah, and if you ever come mid, or if mid comes bot for whatever reason, and the mid has to back, or the mid dies, take the next wave too. Don't just... because otherwise, that wave comes in, stagnates in the mid lane, you guys go bot, and you just miss the wave mid for free. I mean, obviously we missed the bot lane wave here, but that's because Lucian pushed it in. But on the flip side, you lose that wave, you go bot, and you lose that wave too. So, in an ideal world, the Lucian doesn't... actually, look, she gets half the wave still. So, I would actually say that this is the ideal world. She gets 4 minions here, plus the 6 minions in the mid lane. And the XP, which is arguably more valuable than the actual last hitting. Now I'm going to throw it down, because that's typically how they dodge. If I die here, that's actually a-okay. That's... wow. Do I live? Oh, I do. Fucking pog. That little ward right there that Blitz is hitting, that's kind of a tricky ward, because oftentimes the tribe brush is pink warded, but there are times where you can put the ward kind of over that nook where mine was, and sometimes the pink doesn't catch it if your ward is far enough south. And it's a super efficient ward for especially champions like Pyke, Blitz, not Nautilus, Thresh, if the Thresh is on the other team, because oftentimes they'll hide in that little pocket right there and throw hooks from over in the Fog of War. So if you get that warded, it's quite good. Now odds are she dies, but yeah. I don't need to lantern him unless he gets hooked here. He's fine. He's fine. Their fucking mid is still in my lane. The freak? Look out here. That's so scary. I might be able to hook her on the way up, depending on... oh! Do I go for it? No, I don't. And because of the tracking... okay. This Mal has just walked up a little too far. Because of the tracking, you'll always track the Zoe's destination, as long as you hit it initially. If I were Blitz in this scenario, don't throw the hook when she jumps forward. Throw it at the initial spot and try to time it when she jumps back. Because if you're the Blitzcrank, you're going to look really silly when you hook and then she just pops right back. Oh god, this Renekton's going to tilt because my laner's up there just killing him. Oh god, what am I doing? I should have played first. Oh, yes. Okay, so in that situation, try... I guess because he was just a little bit too far away, I tried to go for the hook predict rather than the flay first, but I ended up missing both because Trollzors. It's so strange seeing me not last hit minions since I'm wearing the medallion. Like, I'm so used to relic proc now. I like how I moved forward to try and pick up those souls and they didn't jump to me, so I end up just wasting them because I don't want to waste time. That's so sick. For those that don't know, the lending fee is 50 gold, so that's why I'm in the negatives if anyone has not used that rune before. That dude is just gonna get run out of his jungle, but it is fine. I wanna... looks like I'm about to Nope. I thought I was gonna head over. Oh god. Everything is just falling apart, eh? If I can prevent him from getting the turret, it's fine. I should walk up and flay right here. Oh. Okay, nice. Pretty good. I think I should have done that maybe a second earlier, and the turret may survive too. I don't think it matters much because Trinamir already got first turret, but just for like, I think the point still stands. I think as far as like the right thing to do there, I think it's still to hit him a little earlier to try and dissuade him off the turret. Oh, that was actually really well played by the Blitz. He flashed and ultied first to get a... Oh, does my lantern save? No. But I need to get a hook on this dude. Okay, the flay should keep him there long enough. Kaisa... How did it... Kaisa hit him after me? Maybe not. But they did a really botched dive, so they got 3 of their members killed. So that's actually super good. So this is it. Oh, here. And I'm right here. I'm standing in front of the king so that he doesn't... get bopped by the Zoe, and I'm on a killing spree from just slapping people. Sick. So yeah, like this is a Diamond Elo game, and people are just throwing. I think until maybe like D1 and up, maybe even Masters and up, people don't even know how to close out games because they're just dumb. They get cocky or they get like antsy, something happens in their brain where it just turns off and they start to just give kills back, and this is how you throw games. I think it might be a comeback story of the year. I'm not 100% sure. It's a good sidestep from Kaisa. I was not tanking that for her. I trusted her. That was probably the wrong call, but it worked out. Yeah, if you just stick out the games, like, that's another neat little trick that you can do. She should be able to live there. Yeah, it's another neat little thing you can do when people are kind of running across that little corridor right there. Just hook them when they're mid-rotation, because I think the worst thing that can happen is you throw the hook forward, they dodge backwards, but then your team collapses. But if they don't, then you hook them. So it's kind of a lose-lose for them. Oftentimes when oh shit, they just killed a bunch of them. Oftentimes, and that's super good because I managed to push the Trinamir away from pushing bot. Oftentimes, if you have a squadron behind you and an enemy is trying to juke, just throw it straight, throw it forward. Because even if you miss, the worst thing that can happen is they dodge backwards, your hook misses, but then since they dodged backwards and took that time to retreat for a second there, they actually just die to your teammates' abilities instead. So this part's looking pretty good. We got a decent bit of kills. They're starting to really throw. I think one of the things that I'm a little bit confused on, that I don't know why I'm doing this or why I'm not doing this, is why I don't have Mikhails. I think my reasoning is because I want to put my faith, my love into Kaisa and buy her a Knight's Vow, and I'm hoping that it pays off. Because Zoe's another one of those champions that is similar to Lux, Morgana, Ashe, just players like that I want to... Now hopefully I flash over the red pit. I do. Do I live? I do. I might box here to prevent it. Yeah. Okay, so at least I'm still playing how I would play, and this is really cringe. I'd probably die here. Oh, no shot. He blocked it for me. Yeah, when you're running away in the corridors and people are chasing you, just drop that bad bitch and run. They're not going to want to run through the box. It's a 99% slow, so that's essentially a stun. Oh wait, I actually was in the making for a Knight's Vow and I went over to lock it. I guess I decided to value the anti-burst from Zoe. Okay. Remember, this is an old video, so mythic items don't exist. That's why you're not seeing it. This part's a little bad. We're starting to counter throw here by giving kills back. Remember when you're behind and you're fighting for scraps and you get a 1-for-1 or 2-for-2, 3-for-3, shit like that, it's always going to be worth for you because you're the team that's behind, so gold is more valuable on you than the enemies, especially if any of those kills are shutdowns. It's like exponentially better, I think. But now that we've probably caught up a little bit, I think us giving kills back is pretty Trollzors. It's okay though. I don't think they can actually siege. It's kind of hard to siege into a Kaisa and a Malzahar. They have too good of wave clear and harass. My goal of this game is going to be sit on Kaisa's face and pray to the Almighty, because that's probably the way back in. Now this call right here is definitely a troll idea, I think. Did they not expect this? No shot, right? I just used the Baron to escape. Renekton could take that if he wanted to. I don't really want to block for him. Wait, that ended up working. What the fuck? Okay. I guess maybe we are scaling. Oh no, that's right. Tryndamere is bot because he is that champion, so that's why it ended up being favorable as a 4v5 in our favor. But Lucian dies, Tryndamere. Hopefully Shelly doesn't break the turret. No, it's not good by any means, but it's not the end of the world. Kaisa got a kill back in a 1v2, which is really good. She did get shut down, which is not as good. What's the move now? Looks like there's a Drake coming up next. That might be the objective to try and get control over. Mountain, yeah. That guy walked straight through the sleep because he's a stellar player. I should be dead here too. I think there's no shot that I live. Wow, that Kayn may have played that the worst that he could have. Okay. She should be coming back. Doesn't matter. The Kaisa's Q's followed her all the way through. I don't know that Kaisa has a way out. I don't know if flashing like that was the move. Now, they could probably just head straight up to Baron if they were any real players. I think that's the move for them. But because my Kayn is up, I can probably run over, block the hook, and even if I get hit by the hook, you know, die, but get him in range to try and smite still. Okay, he dodged. He might be able to walk in and okay, no, he just ended up running in and dying. Does he take the lantern? No, it wears out. But he might Q. No. I was gonna Q over using the golems to try and escape, but they didn't pursue, so it's okay. Kayn ran it. That's okay. It's not really Kane's fault for being in that position to try and 50-50 and lose it. That's our fault for just... Oh, well, no, I guess not. He's the one that ran it at the Drake bit, but it's okay. There's definitely things I could have done better though, so... From my build, it's seemingly looking like I'm going Knight's Vow here, which is the Kindle Gem, Cloth Armor, I forget what the name of that item is. Cloth Armor builds into something. Chain Vest, I believe, and then that would build into a Knight's Vow. Wish Malzahar or Kaisa shot that a little bit earlier. That would have been good. I'm gonna walk up, pressure the Zoe so that she can't keep escorting these minions into our side. Us getting kills back here, it seems like we're back on the back foot, so Zoe being able to not push and our team getting kills is beneficial, and I'm not a bitch, so I'm going to complete the back. Things are looking good. Things are looking good, all things considered, with the factors that I'm looking at, with where they are in the game. I think we've stopped the bleeding a little bit. Now I'm always going to be trying my best to shadow the Kaisa, because I think she is our only player that can successfully carry us out of this. Malzahar with a well-timed ult and space voidlings and his aids can also do work. I think Malzahar is an exceptional champion late game, minus the fact that if there's any brain cells on the enemy team, all they do is build a QSS. Regardless, I think his damage output late game is pretty nuts, so this Blitz is definitely trolling. I don't know what that was, which gave Kane a really good knock-up, got me a hook. And honestly, we might be able to just pursue. Yeah, he gets flayed, he gets slowed. I can try and go for a, okay. Now I just gotta keep the... Oh, fucking fuck me. Was it an ace, though? I see 4 dead. 5 dead? No, 4 dead. That's an ace. Honestly? Look. It's not great. We lost another ItemPurchase turret. But... this is where we like to be, team. This is where we like to be. In the pressure cooker. This is where we operate the best. Our inhib did come back up, so that's one wave that isn't getting slammed. Though, I'm actually a advocate of getting inhib downed when you have a scaling team, because it gives you a free lane to farm in, so... should that inhib still be down, I would not be too upset. Both Malzahar and Kaisa would greatly benefit from the supers. 2 years ago, what was the Elder Drake? Is it just burn damage? And now it has the execute? I don't know if there's the execute at this patch when this game was created. So that's kind of the only thing. There are a few little bits that are going to be different, but I think overall game sense, mechanics, shit like that, that's not going to really change. This guy is in a really weird spot. I might be able to... no. I think if I acted a little bit quicker, I could have caught him in one of those pockets while he was trying to fish for a hook. Honestly, if he tries to go for a hook on the Malzahar, I can go for a hook on him. If he tries to go for a hook on me, Malzahar can just walk up and ulti him. Lucian somehow gets caught just randomly, so... if he gets one more knockup, I should be able to get in range to... yeah. Flay right here. Perfect. Little aids. They're starting to play really, I don't know. I think they're a bit on the panic mode. I think they're starting to realize that, oh shit, they're scaling. Because there is no world in which a Lucian outshines a Kaisa late game. Flay him off the carry. It's okay if they get inhib, she doesn't die. That's what matters. Because remember, one inhib really is not the end of the world. It's actually beneficial for you guys. I'm sad that that guy didn't get killed right there. I'm sad that my guy got killed right there, and the other guy got killed right there. Oh, no, Mouse is still alive. This is fine. I think the Malzahar not being right next to me and attacking is a little troll. But that's okay, I hope. I wonder who that dude is pinging. Oh, he's pinging the Renekton, okay. I don't actually know what the Renekton did. But clearly, it pissed him off, so. Oh, Static Shiv, I missed that item. Okay, the goal here is to start flying over towards Renekton because they might throw here by being a little too aggressive here. Okay. Got a good hook on the Trinamir, was that? Lucian also dies. And then Blitz is gonna die here. Now, okay, this sucks because they got 3 whole inhibs. So we're gonna be confined to the base for the next 4 minutes at least. But, and here's the big but, if we can stem the bleeding, if we can just catch wave after wave, we might be able to drag the game out. But because they threw and got killed for greeting for our 3rd inhib, we actually, it looks like, just get a free ass Baron, and that's gonna help so fucking much in stalling out these 3 waves that are gonna come flying in. So that's huge. We may lose a turret here, but I think all in all it's okay. That guy got immediately just ass blasted by Mal's. It's really good. I wonder if I were to hit tab in this game if there would have been, or if there are any QSSs on the enemy team. I don't think Lucian had one. I doubt that the Blitz had one. I'm not holding tab quick enough for me to see. She's not going to have one, and top doesn't have one. The top is actually full build and doesn't have a QSS. So, this is a diamond level game, and people still refuse to build the right items. Oh shit on a tit. Okay, we're good. That inhib should be coming up shortly. I think that's the first inhib they got. So if we can actually protect that. If I die here, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. That's okay. The inhib comes up. The Baron actually helps them or us from them sieging quite a bit. Me dying was obviously not good, but I think because we have the Baron and we have Malzahar, Voidlings, and Aids, I don't think they can actually ever push into us, even with the 3 super waves. There's still 1 turret standing, so that's all you need. 1 turret and a dream. I'm up shortly. I also have my redemption. I'm moving it up to the top row just in case I need to use it immediately. I'm gonna drop it on that dude, I expect. Also, one thing that I just noticed right there, or I'll get back to that in a sec. I'm gonna peel for this guy, box his ass in. Oh shit, he didn't know. One thing that I just noticed in this clip that gives me major fucking PTSD is the snap back to your character function feature when you revive, and I think you can fix that in the game section under like the far down thing when you hit escape, because it does this really cringe mechanic where if you're looking elsewhere on the map while you're dead and then you revive, the camera snaps back to your character where you are right now, and that has, you know, that can slow your, your next move by a second to 2 seconds if depending on how slow or how fast you are. Like if you're trying to, oh, what is that guy? Nice. Heals up because he jumped out. If you're trying to redemption somebody, if you're trying to TP somewhere, if you're a Shen and you're trying to ult somebody, like any of these things, and your camera snaps back to you, it's no good. Now again, I'm playing just for the Kaisa. I have lanterns going, and she just squadroned them. What? Champ. This is why Kaisa is always going to be superior to Lucian late game. Holy fuck. I'm dropping the box and I'm hooking preemptively, and she might have pented right there. She just did. Holy. Now, maybe this game wasn't the best game to look at in hindsight, because I don't know that I did much. Like, I peeled for the Kaisa, I had like little things going on, but I don't know that I would argue that I greatly contributed to our victory. Obviously, I had decent peel, shields, and shit like that, but I'm actually going to add one more game because I'm not too satisfied with this game. I think the most that we get out of this game is don't tilt, just keep playing. You never know when they're going to fuck up and throw. Keep playing, keep peeling, keep being the support, because if your team is the one that scales better, there's no reason to FF. So I'm gonna actually add one more match, and maybe in the next match, maybe I won't add my. I'll look at the match, I'll let it play out, and maybe I won't actually add my commentary over it. Maybe it'll be a good game to watch just as is. Maybe there'll be good commentary within the actual game. So if that's the case, then I will add it up top that there is no commentary.
Alright, I'm at like 30 LP now. So I got about 3 losses in me before it goes downhill.
I like that.
I forgot to change out the stopwatch, so I have stopwatch.
Ah, that's good. I just crushed my own ball sack.
Why?
Oh.
How?
That hurts. Like, I don't know, I squeezed my legs together.
Squeeze your legs together for you instead.
I really want some water. I'm gonna go sit at Tower.
Go to the fountain.
Ah,
Hey, Bo.
hey, Bo.
You still there, young Samu? How are you doing? How are you doing on this fine evening? Hey, Samu. Just know that your presence just brings a lot of comfort to my life.
Batu.
Does she have? No.
Yeah, that did no damage.
I thought she had resolve.
Wait, it's a little,
She doesn't.
little armor. She does not, yeah.
Why did I take that damage like that? Okay.
Much
They have
use
Ramus, so
to
you can swing around whenever the.
use one of our health pots.
Laptop.
That's
keeps
always
pimping.
good.
What? Oh, ring. Volley bear. Volley bear with the flip of the century. Doesn't get
Yeah.
anything. So wait, you don't play in League, do you?
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yeah. Ah. Got it.
Poor volley at the flash because you're a monkey.
I don't know how you're gonna dodge. What?
You gotta expect it, Roger. That's what a good hooker does.
Here's my thing, young Samu. Since you don't play League of Legends, do you like watching me play League of Legends? Do you hate it? What's the prognosis here?
Definitely hates watching you. I would hate it too, Samu. He misses everything he throws out.
Do you even know who Samu is?
No.
Shut the
He's my
fuck
boy.
up then, alright?
We vibed in the Discord the other day. I got it back. I'm missing every farm.
Okay. Play.
I'd like some AD.
Dude, Samu makes me so happy, bro. He said, "Hey man, I'll always be here for you."
Tell
Wow.
Samu to shut the fuck up.
Hell no, Samu's my boy. I should I'm not gonna do it with you anymore.
You're a monkey, you know that?
E, Zed E! Zed could have E, then slowed him.
Maybe you didn't have it up. You ever think of that?
Dude, E's up like every fucking 3.5 seconds, bro. No, there's no way Zed queued but didn't have E.
Maybe you eat earlier.
Per chance. Oh, they dove.
Yeah, it looks like they did. Oh.
Oh.
Whoa, Roger. I'll take it. I love double auto, do you?
Yeah. I don't know if you're
Wow.
sarcastic or not.
I'm being very sarcastic because it made me miss that minion.
Yeah, maybe not top isn't the way to go.
Maybe what?
Not top, Nautilus top isn't the way to go.
Why is he losing? Oh. 17 to 36 in farm.
That 36 isn't like that great either, but he's got 17.
Yeah.
Stand in front of the wave. Oh.
I missed both of them.
Oh.
All three. It's a very big wave we can fight into.
I got it.
Oh, I could have flashed for another auto. Did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Do it. There's a lantern? Okay.
I'm
We're
good,
out.
I'm good. We don't need the lantern.
Dude, you're so cute, bruh. Okay, Removes man. You see him?
Yeah.
Okay, Echo man.
Let's get out of here. Yeah.
Stay
got a
behind me, stay
lantern,
behind me. I do. He's gonna go for you, and then I'm gonna toss that custody. He's gonna go for me, and I didn't have that planned out.
We're gonna get out of there, okay?
I'm gonna skedaddle.
We're gonna skedaddle out of there. We're gonna let that wave just crash. I'm gonna lose it, and it's fine. Get out of base quick. 6. Throw that shit. You lose first, yeah?
We don't
No,
lose first,
fuck.
you pussy blanket.
Whoa, why am I a pussy blanket? Oh, LL Stylish has been playing Zed again, by the way. BT
Has he?
dubs. Yeah,
Why?
he's been winning. He really likes it again.
What the fuck? He's so
Yeah.
bad. Not.
He
Zed is just
accidentally
so-
got it picked because he was trading with someone and the guy just instant locked Zed for him. And he's like, well, I should have told him I want Zed. And then he like demolished. And then he last like 3 vids have been with Zed.
Nice.
Yeah. Mom's calling.
Nance.
Hello? Hey, Mom. No, they haven't rang the doorbell at least.
I'm gonna ward.
Okay. Bye.
Well played by a scholar like Zed. Ah.
Wow, I wish I could say the same about our Thresh. That's for sure.
Dude.
How long are we talking on the CD depart?
6 seconds.
Well, we need to fight before he 6. That's oh. Are you tilted or something?
I'm fucking angry, bro.
What are you
No,
doing?
we're good. Volley's gonna come in. I'm gonna lantern. Oh, what are you doing? We're okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, I can't auto him. Do I flash?
No.
Okay, no. Oh,
Oh.
you're red. Yep. Do I get an assist because you took so fucking long?
No, no one does.
I hate you.
What do you want me
I
to do?
hate
She gets a
you.
huge
I
shield.
love you. I don't think it hits the turret. It doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Not the whole wave.
No, but that's not how it works here.
Oh, no, I just care if the minions die. I don't care if we get tower damage.
They need to die on the turret so it resets. Because if they die here, it'll freeze right there.
Oh,
I'm backing. I'm not staying.
doesn't have smite.
He doesn't need it. He's gonna bite. Sick assist. Do I need pots? Yeah, I'll just
I
do that.
hate you. I love you. You need to land these hooks, Roger. Got it? Get it?
What if they're just too good of players?
Good.
Lol, that guy's name is the Rage Quit Sage.
Let's go. We can literally force. I'm double buffed Bork out of my mind.
Just
to
keep
his,
the wave. We're just gonna keep the wave here.
Definitely not gonna freeze because I sort of pushed it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna invite Nick to the server.
Yeah. Yeah, he's up top.
We can
I don't
fight.
like her. I can't
You're
step
literally
up.
Murdered.
Buenos tardes.
Hey, bro.
I'd see you later, isn't it?
I don't know.
Wow.
But John, check this series out. Great series.
I think I've seen it before.
What?
I've seen it before.
Have you seen all of them?
I've seen that specific bush
That works.
before. But
Monkey.
I mean, I've seen those guys. Like I've seen a lot of their YouTube videos.
That shit's so funny.
Yes, man, it's actually.
lane. What a.
Things might be difficult because of that guy right there in the mid lane, the midmost,
Yeah.
and our top laner. Well, at least that one hasn't died yet. He's just getting shat on.
Alright, let's get out of here. We got first, so that's good.
Yeah.
By we, I mean me.
Yeah.
I'm huge. I'm huge, as some would even say.
Nick, would you say that?
Alright, you guys plot one.
What up?
No,
What
no,
happened?
we haven't gained any LP today.
I have.
Wait, how?
We've been splitting all of our games.
Yeah, and we have been losing more than gaining, so just say it's been an interesting day.
Well, I played one solo and I won it, so I'm in the lead now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Ashe,
technically in the lead as well. I was at 0, now I'm at 18, but
pattern is the same. We lose this one.
yeah. It's looking like a win, but
Can't. That echo is
can't-
gonna hit like a freight train.
so am I. So is Zed. That's huge. He's up 20 farm on Echo, down a kill, but
The red ate it. Nice heal.
thanks.
Hey, watch that.
Yeah, I'm blocking the volley, don't worry. I'm coming. My E doesn't get through that wall. Such a fucking thick wall.
A thick wall for a thick boy, you know? Do you have flash? No, you don't.
No. Why would I need flash?
I was gonna say flash on her. She was right here and she was low.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm not flashing for that 0-4 Kaisa. Are you good? I'm good.
I've never seen Nick laugh this hard. Someone must be telling him a
This
sick
video
knock-knock
is
joke.
So great.
What video?
I linked it.
Yeah, idiot.
Alright, let me take a gander here.
Yeah, I'm watching while I'm running
Well,
back.
he's on, you're on a Jimmy Fallon, like, train here.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Wow.
Big time.
Wow.
I don't think
Makes
he's
me
that funny.
proud.
Did he up his game or what?
No, it's
It's his
the,
guests.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the guy.
it's
okay.
like the games he plays are funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching Slapjack with Ryan Reynolds earlier, and then I saw,
Yeah,
like,
I've been on Ellen. I've been on all the game shows.
Wow.
Ellen.
isn't your math test today?
Go
Yeah,
up here, up here.
How's that gonna go?
I'm trying.
who knows?
No, chill.
Have you studied for it?
Get him away from me.
Oh. It just seems like you're watching shows.
Yeah, that's in the side.
Ah. Well, I should have just ran. Thought you guys were gonna fight. Fuck. Well, Cho's a big boy now.
Yikes.
That's just me trying to be a team player. That sucks. Should have just let Zed die. Thought his ult would do more. He just ulted and died. So feels bad, as some would even say.
Help!
Oh boy, Nick is literally loving life.
That's not enough.
Oh, that sucks.
Shield, I guess.
any damage to him. Oof. That's rough. Oh, that's a Ramoose with Bramble. Is that a Jin? It's not.
Is that a Jin?
I thought I saw a Jin ulti, dude. I was having a stroke. How's our Zed doing? Oh. Good flash. Oh, he's full armor.
Yeah.
Calm down, calm down, calm down.
What?
I don't know. Someone pinged us 1,000,000 times, so I don't know why, but I'm scared.
Howdy, partner. Before you ask, I'm on a 10-game loss streak. Hey, bruh. Other than the loss streak, how's it going? They got some thick people on their team.
Yeah, that's okay. Once I finish my Black Cleaver, I'm gonna be herding.
Yeah.
Cause I already have Bork, so I have like I have a tank shredding build.
Yeah, you might want to go into the Last Whisper.
No, I think I'm gonna go Fire Cannon into IE into Last Whisper.
Yeah, make the Last Whisper the third item. So like the third Whisper.
Actually, yeah, I can. I can just do the Last Whisper part. Oh. Oh, poor Echo. Oh, poor Echo. That's just CC forever. That's why I like Nautilus, even though every Nautilus we
Did I
have
put this on you?
sucks. No, you have not.
There you go.
Yeah, so what do you think about that? Just finishing the Last Whisper part, going Fire Cannon. So I don't need the rest of it.
No, I don't think the Last Whisper part's the important part. I think it's the. Oh no, wait, they got rid
No,
of
I
that,
have
didn't they?
Bork already. Wait, what?
Never mind, I'm thinking of something else. I think.
The shredding health part?
Yeah.
The Giant Slayer?
Yeah, that might
They
be
got
what I'm
rid
thinking of.
that.
Okay,
They got rid
yeah.
of Wait, I actually just noticed they got rid of that. So what's the point of going Lord Dominic? Dominic's. Just more AD?
It's armor pen.
But same with the other one.
Yeah, but this one does like more for how much HP they have, I think.
35, yeah. No, it's just a straight 35.
Oh, okay, so that's what they changed it.
Oh, they kind of nerfed the Last Whisper itself.
Get out, get out, get out.
I'm flashing this way, I'm out.
Rebecca, need to make a phone call.
I think that's all she wrote. What are the odds I go in there and I steal Drake, a Baron?
I'm pretty low.
Do you want to try?
Guess. Do you have a ward to put in there?
Yeah, I have one more pink.
Put it.
Oh.
Yeah, good luck.
Not bad, I just wanted to try. Oh my god. Dude! We shat on their bot lane. But they're still gonna come out on top. Because they have a top laner. That's nutty, bruh. Come on. Just need people to use their little noggins.
Yeah. doing my last whisper. Oh. Oh, I thought you were
Did you want him? Oh, I didn't know you wanted him. I just threw it
It's
out.
not
just
really tanky. Like health-wise, yeah, but I have a Bork. Dead again?
Yeah. Ah. I might have to watch this video after this one, bro. I need to get my morale back up. Yeah, Nick's just what did he say yesterday? Jiggling his lips? Was that it, June?
Jiggling the lips.
Yeah. Let me stop this.
Yeah, kill this one.
Yeah. I hooked him. Thing.
Like, I'm huge. I just.
On me? Maybe?
Coming. Can you flash him? No, no.
Don't have a
it's fine, it's
fly.
fine.
Oh, just turned on me.
Shit
I had
on
a
you.
hook. I had him hooked. I thought there was people with me.
No, we were like slowed by Lulu, so we just turned on her.
Oh, the rage quit stage. Oh, that's scary.
It is kind of scary. That's his name.
Yeah.
Huh.
You think he rage quit or you
You think that's just a coincidence?
a coinky dink? Yeah. No.
Ah. This is right here.
Okay, he didn't die, which is good.
Go.
I got him again. I'm taunting. Putting the box down. I think I have Kaisa. I do. I'm him.
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh.
It's fine, it's fine. If he ults to you, he's dead. I'm gonna stay. Be careful. No flash, Echo.
Okay.
Good thing you took stopwatch, right?
Well. We may be able to pull it out if we keep killing that show like that.
Yeah, and I have 1300.
Hey, bro, I need to take a look at this, bro. I haven't seen this man cheese this hard in my whole life.
So great. This is my favorite series from here on out. Whew.
Jimmy Falloon?
What? No, this Will It T or like Will It something.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty good.
Whew. Did you see the Will It T?
I've seen those before, yeah.
Alright, I finished my last whisper item. Lord Dominus.
Alright.
Ramus is behind.
I'm gonna go ward. Oh no. Back up, back up, back up.
Just focus this guy.
I think I have. Yep, got him. I'm using locket. Playing. Hooked, Echo. No. It's fine. You're still alive. I got Echo again.
Oh, well, they're so low. We should have just reset. As Zed didn't even get an ult. Yeah. Yeah.
Unlucky.
Like, how can you be bad at ulting on Zed? It's not difficult. Even if there's a front line, you W through and you just press R. Even if you don't get the kill.
It wasn't full on HP. Was there someone here? Echo's down bot. What are the odds we can just sneak this?
Odds are pretty low. Especially because I'm Lucian. Not a... Oh!
What if I do that? A lantern?
Show?
Yeah. I'm gonna flame. Oh, I missed.
That's fine.
I have a hook. I have a hook. I'm gonna wait on the play. I'm playing now. He's knocked up. And I saved that.
Nice hooking.
Thanks.
We have too much CC for them to really like hard force down fights with us.
I saved Zed's life with that locket. I noticed at the last second that he was low.
I had heal. I just didn't want to heal him. Not cause like I'm a piece of shit, just cause
Wait, that's what it sounds like. What?
Wow, dude, would it be an asshole?
no, it's just cause there's no point. I'm a lot more important than he is if I waste my defensive.
God.
Sayonara, bro.
Sayonara.
Player.
Shut the fuck up, Nami player.
Oh. Wow.
Wait, Nami is a team player though.
No, if he was a team player, he'd play like a tank. No, guys, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Why'd you
Not
say it like a
lose
tank?
Oh, he's so mad. Nick, is he pissed?
He's pissed. He pissed
Yeah.
his pants.
Hey, dude, bitch is dead.
Oh, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. That man is a. Oof.
Doesn't
I
that
almost
mean
have
Kaisa-
redemption. Can we wait till that?
We don't really need it. I just need you to sit on me. Like, don't go for
Well,
any
no.
huge plays.
I understand, but I would really like that. And I'm gonna get it.
I mean, we can, but if they just run us down, you know what I mean? Oh, that quick? Okay.
How many questions do you think this test is about to be, Ron?
Probably
a
7,
nice
8.
like 15.
15.
Like
Son,
calculus
you
Are
smoke.
big and
10.
talking to deep voice racist.
10. Is that better?
Yeah, it's probably like
I
10.
don't know. What was your first one, John?
Calc?
Mm-hmm.
Calc is
Baby
low
question.
question.
Baby calc?
10 questions.
No, Calc is low question tests.
Yeah, those are usually like low questions.
See myself getting maybe one.
Oh.
Oh,
Zed's-
that you're
Zed's on
getting.
his
Oh,
own.
I thought you just asked like.
No, how
questions-
many are there in total? Yeah, that's
Oh.
what I was asking.
Yeah, like 10 or 15.
Yeah. Because they're really long questions, so you can't
Ain't
really have
that
them.
the truth?
Yeah, I have a math test tomorrow, dude. Gonna look up some Khan Academy later tonight, and then watch some more tomorrow.
I want to auto that.
Wow, this leveling is slowing down real quick.
Mountain.
60% in
You
114.
think they're just gonna run it up in? I don't know what they can
Yeah,
really
but
get.
it's really quick. They can't get anything.
Yeah.
Because we have Baron recalls.
Yeah.
Top, though, that they can. But even if we lose that, it's not a big deal.
I agree.
Inner. Mountain, I feel like at this state of the game is really important. If I can get my IE, kind of kill them all.
I'm definitely hearing you out.
Huh?
A QSS. What are your thoughts on that item?
For what? Ramus?
Ram, Lulu.
I don't know. I'm in the back line on their tanks. I don't think I really need it.
Okay. On me? Do we
It's
just
back
keep going?
and reset. No,
Wait,
no,
what
no.
are we Wait, we just killed
okay.
2.
It just because mid inhib just came up. I don't want that to go down. But volley can protect it.
Wait. Hello? Wait, he's leaving too. We can just do this.
Care no bear. Take that. Yeah, I don't know. Without volley there, I guess our front line's a lot weaker.
I guess, but we have a Nautilus. Oh, well, not if he does that. Just kite back. I'm feeling out for you. He's here. And I have him. And I flayed him. Now I gotta play back. I'm a little low. Okay.
Oh. I got to back here, you think?
You think?
Let's hope so.
I blue trinketed, it's fine. Oh god, Roger, this game should not be this difficult.
I agree. I don't know what else to get you. Mikhail's?
Mikhail's maybe for Ramus taunt. So I won't
Yeah.
have to get QSS.
Did I volley? No, volley dies.
No, it's fine. Echo's a huge part of. He's their only damage.
Kaisa's starting to hit a little hard, brother. I don't know.
I one-shot her if I can get to her, but that's the issue. I can't get to her. We should push bot out.
They should pop Kaisa right here. Pop it like a little pimple. What's he doing?
Link expired. Damn it.
Yeah, I need a permanent link. Yeah, I need a permanent link somehow.
Oh, you took it. Fuck.
My flays, auto I guess
Yeah.
is just too crazy, bruh. Red's up, get that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Getting IE, I'm getting IE. Chill, chill, chill. Ward Baron. Okay. Well, this should be a lot easier. Oh, I should clear mid.
Clear that mid first. Yep. Move!
You guys
I'm
good?
stuck on him.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, dude, that volley scared me, bro. Thought I was gonzo.
You can't even hook him.
Ah,
Oh, I hurt. I hurt.
yeah, it's 'cause some of the damage is true damage.
Yeah.
No, McFaddy, I made a new Discord just for people to join Where are you? I need eyes on you. Okay, you're back there. Okay. Okay. Go in, go in, go in. You have red. It's on me. Lantern for shield? Okay. Oh my god.
I'm carrying so hard. I mean, no, like us, but you know what I mean. Roger this. I'm scared because I played that fight out of my mind, and I'm scared we're still gonna lose.
Well, that's a sick Lucianda.
Thank you.
No, the skin.
Yeah, I know.
You bought the skin?
Yeah. Kidding me? Roger,
Okay.
that Cho hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost died at the very start. That would have been bad news, Bears, if I did. Okay. I'm gonna, grab that. Grab that.
You got Infernal.
Oh, the Elder, nice. That's really good.
Elder, that's what I meant, yeah. And we have 4 dragons. Oh my god, we're gonna shred.
We're gonna hurt.
Baron.
Are they on it? Wait, I just realized.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
have
we
a.
lost
We
it.
have to fight.
We
We
lost
have
it.
to fight. They
We
have a
lost
Cho.
it. We lost it. Yeah, we lost it. That's what we get for Nautilus and Volley going bot.
Yeah. We can still run up mid and we can still take a fight. So that's the good news. Oh,
Go.
okay. I'm gonna drop this early. Okay, put Mikhail's on you. I have Kaisa. You need to go on her. She's hitting like a truck. Okay.
That should be game.
Yeah.
Nice hook. That literally saved that fight.
Woo! Woo! And we have to end now. Dude, I'm about to have a heart attack if you don't end it right now.
Just kill him.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay. Focus.
Yeah, I got him. Oops.
That's game, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. We had to play that
I'm
game.
shaking, dude. I'm literally shaking.
My
I hated
hands are
that.
shaking. We had
Dude,
to
I
play that
hated
game
that.
immaculately for that to even be close.
If I got caught once there, we literally lose.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying play Lucian, bro. Like, he's so good.
I just went 19-1, Roger. I had double the next person's damage.
Yeah.
And with that, holy shit, you guys, we have made it. We are at the end. And if you've made it this far, truly, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I know that this was probably not the most fun video that you've ever gone through, but I do hope that some bits of it were helpful, beneficial, and could assist in your climb. Now, one last thing, I do wanted to apologize because I know that there are a lot of audio issues here. You might, if you listen closely, hear a bunch of the fuck-ups. The editing program that I was using kept fucking up. Now, without further ado, I think I am done hitting everything that I've wanted to hit. So let's just jump right into it and start thanking the people that did make this project come true. So firstly, we have Westai Queen. Queen was there, and I think the first custom game I created to make this video in order to collect plays and reenact certain mechanics. So super thankful for that. And then from there we've got Morgan Freeman XX, and Morgan was super kind, super helpful. Every time I asked the group chat if someone could get on so I could test a play to collect some footage, he was always one of the first to volunteer and say that he would help, and for that I'm truly grateful. Thank you so much. Without you, this video would have taken a lot longer to make. After that, we've got Kenryo and Nyana. Kenryo and Nyana, although they were there in not as many custom games, I did send them the first 20 minutes of this video to see what they would think, give them a preview of it, and they sent back a lot of knowledgeable, insightful, and helpful tips in improving the quality of this video. And although I was unfortunately not able to implement every single one due to being short on time, I was able to hopefully put out a better product than I would have been able to maybe 2 weeks ago or so. So thank you so much. Without you guys, this video would have suffered. And then from there we've got Spicy Ice Water, and I believe Spicy was in the second most customs. He too was alongside Morgan, super helpful, super vocal about being willing to help and being a part of this project and making it come true. And not only that, he too was given a preview of the first 20 minutes, and he was very kind, very sweet with the messages and the motivation to keep on putting the work into this video, and without him this video would not have come true. And I actually learned from Spicy that ADCs cannot take the lantern if you are using the target champion only feature. So maybe for all you ADCs out there that never take the fucking lantern, maybe 1 out of those 10 times, maybe it's because you're in attack champion only. And lastly, we have Cyan. And Cyan, without her, this project would absolutely not be possible at all. She was the one who helped me find the clips for the video, helped me make the clips for the video, helped me edit the clips for the video, edited some of the clips for the video, taught me how to edit some of the clips for the video, helped me in a series of interactions, matchups, and filmed a lot of the reenactions that I needed someone to be there for. Was super patient in some of the interactions in which it was going to take a very long time to pull off. She's the one that saw my video and I needed someone to sort of break down the video and put it into sections, and the reason that this video is hopefully in a more of a structured format is because of her. And I'm trying to think of what else she did. This project literally would not exist without Cyan, so thank you so much. I love you. You were fantastic. I believe that was it. I'd feel like shit if I forgot anybody, but I don't believe I did. Everyone who has been here for a step of the process, thank you so incredibly much. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope it has been beneficial. Remember, you're not gonna see improvements right away, but I'm hoping with time, with practice, with confidence, and with the help of this guide, you do find a bit more belief in yourself and find yourself to be a better Thresh player. And yeah, hopefully I haven't missed anyone or anything, and if you have made it to the end, once again, I thank you. I know that this is a lot, but it does mean a lot to me that you've made it this far. I do hope you guys learned a thing or two, and if you do have suggestions for me, please let me know so that I may be able to carry it forward to my next projects. And with that, that's all I got. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see y'all in the next video.